listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right across me is Justine Nardios.
Real local music.
March 16, 1521.
Real close to home. Top of the Morning with Jiggy and Justine. Monday to Friday, 8 in the morning from Top of the Morning. Only on 105.9 TMC, the best of us.
わかめ、枝豆、唐揚げ、串カツ、天ぷら、とんか焼き、餃子、網焼き、かしぶってジューおこそば、マグロと焼きそば、お好み焼き、すき焼き、牛丼、そてジューたこ焼き、はやし、そばめし、豚丼、寿司、わらみこし、冷やし飴、そてジュー
All the best dishes from Japan, all originally from Japan. Bateju.
Ay. To 2025, you are live. What are you going to do about it? 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
Bro, pareha ko si Juan, bro. Pareha ko si Ron, no?
Good morning, maayong buntag sa tanan. Siguraduhay mong bagay nga wala na kay nalilitan.
Bro, di man siya mo, Juan, bro. Di man siya mo access, bro, sa Pilipinong Juan. Kaning folder sync kita. Sige na kung folder sync kita sa kaning kandaha. Di ba? Doon na magpulyo akong butang sa folder sa tapos hindi center na kung hindi siya mo update na. Hindi ko siya mo na siya ay nakuha ba na hindi siya mo ayos yung kanta daw. Wala siya ba? Ang kanta daw wala. Barang wala siya na access niya kami access niya sa access niya sa access niya ba? Anak ko sa kay Magic at tangan ba? Hindi siya ma-access ba? Hindi mo sing hindi siya ma-access sa hindi siya mo musultin sa kanaso ya. Kaya pala yung folder sa lahat mga folder kasi folder
o presko nga butog sa karkar magkit-kit taog tagungkong nga chicharon maligaw kas boardwalk sa naka sugdon na pasensya sa bingla wala
so akong baca kung akong singsa niya kung ang hindi ka ma-access it na hindi mo siya hindi siya access sa ako tayo specific folder ba? Kung ka folder din pero mga sila sa folder
kaya may pamatian tuyo punta ng lugar sa Subo kauba ng mga amigo kaninyot sa Cebu Unya, asa naman punta? Karon sa norte na punta paingon ang kinilaw sa Danau parisag suwaki o tuyo basta sa Carmen pod kabog bibingka sa Katmon ang iron middle pagkataas kong imong bakason
hindi siya mo-update hindi siya
sa lapyahan sa
Masking.
Remeo sa
Wala
isla
matulog
sa
ko.
bantay
Maski Juan, maski kaning MP3 ba di siya mo sa may content para sa mga Magic ka
pagkabugnaw pagkatinaw sa mga spring sa tuburan
ay
sa kaunta ang bukid sa Balamban sa busay bisita-unta ang maanindot nga buwakan nasa manggabi tapahingon pupos nila liluan konsolasyon bisan asa sa Subo pwede ka mong bakasyon tanamang laata at tuon bisang asa naghatag pwede suruyan walay problema kuyog lang tanamang lumata kaya may pamati at tuyo punta ka ng lugar sa Subo
Ihalat sa mga Cebuano. Walay sama ang ganito mo. Bisan nasa ibang ang kabuko. Inalangka ko Cebu, tanamang laata. Sa talisay magnetsyon, puto ng kulot. Makumpra ka sa carbon, tanamang lumata. Sa situlo manay, sumay sa tisa magtagbaw. Sa magtagpisaw, tanamang laata. Ibang party sa Mandawi, mag-order sa pwede. Pagkalami pa kung libre, tanamang lumata. Kahayahay pamatian, tuyukon tadadal lugar sa Subo. Tuyukon ang syudad sa Subo, tuyukon ang syudad sa Subo. Nalipong na akong amigo, kanindot sa Cebu.
105.1 welcomes the new year and the new you with open arms and the promise for more local music on 105.1 TMC.
I would do anything for you. Still about anything for you that I could afford. Drunk on your love, my crash anywhere with you. Do all the things you said we do, and drown on your love. High on your love. I could take anything for you. I'd lose and find anything for you. Oh, I'm drunk on your love. Drunk on your love. Drunk on your love. And I'm sure that if things were any different now, then I would be drunk on your love. And I will regret numbers I tried to forget just because. Drunk on your love. Drunk on your love.
Sa gawa sa lagundi, tinutunaw at pinalalabas ang plema. Ginhawa para sa bata, peace of mind para kay mommy. Camille Pratsiambao po, nag-flex for Plemex.
Ang dating lagundi, Plemex!
Phoenix Blue Whales, the generic name of Plex for kids. If symptoms persist, consult your doctor.
Mommies, agapan agad ang ubo at plemang nakabara. Pambatang lagundi, Plemex!
105.1 welcomes the new year and the new you with open arms and the promise for more local music on 105.1 TMC.
Sa marikundang pagkami nagtapog, bawang nobling na uban akong pamilya sa kahayang sa adlaw kita nagbibigay. Ang ulong ng mga sa katawa, ikaw o kalimaw ang kahintang, mga bata nagtuwa sa pag-ibig.
Off by off, why 101 by?
Kung sa wala iproblema, subad na to tanan. Malibayon ang mga adlaw dire. Sa higala
Off.
ang magkauban. Sama-sama
sa kuma, namian nga pagkawangikan sa kusina. Tungkol sa kanta, sayaw sa hangin, pamati sa aking ang buhi, na wala'y pagkapalit. Sa mga kahoy na naglihok, ingon na nagpuyag mo sila sama sa among kasing-kasing. Nagpapilit na puno sa kalipay. Nalibayan ang mga araw biret. Sa higalaw pamilyang magkauban. Sama sa mga bituon sa gabi. Kahayag magpapilit sa sandasan. Nalipayon ang mga adlaw nila. Sa higalaw pamilyang magkauban. Sama sa
There it is.
bituon sa gabi. Kahayag magpapilit sa sandasan.
105.1 TMC. It is now 9:24. Don't forget, we can chat at Tops Media Center. Join us in our chat group with me, Jiggy Juice. You're listening to Top of the Morning. Of course, that's the name of the program. Mo na pangalan sa tong programa karong buntaga. O kada adlaw matag Lunes hangtod Biyernes from 8 to 12 in the afternoon. That's 8 a.m. until 12 noon. Atong hisugutan karong buntaga is nostalgia. Why do we want to go back in time all the time, especially with our music? You know, like I said, karon Biyernes kadaghanan sa mga sessionan sa radio karon na ay mga nostalgia driven programming kanang mga kinaraan nga kanta ilang ipatukar. Ngano ka sa? Why is that? And speaking of nostalgia, let me wax nostalgic for a little bit right now. Not really quite nostalgic, but it's actually a reimagination of an old kinaraan siya nga kanta, karaan siya nga kanta gikan ni Rick Sigreto, the late Rick Sigreto, who died a long time ago from a freak motorcycle accident. And ang nag-reimagine ani niya, nag-remake ani niya, nag-re-engineer sa Don't Know What to Do kay si High C. Let's listen to this. This one's called What to Do. Heard only here on 105.1 TMC, ang pinakasugbuanon nga radio station sa tibuok kalibutan. 105.1 TMC, the best of us. 105.1 TMC, something brand new from High C, as of course promised. One of our main promises for 2025 is we're going to have more new local music. That one is Don't Know What to Do from High C, originally done by Rick Sigreto. Like I said, maayong buntag yung mga Junior Doding Espinosa. Ganahan mapatukar si J.R. Duding, Take On Me by AHA. Ato siguro ipatukar sa ato ang listener override. Yes, you can override our playlist. Just text 0999-8876-070 kung dili mo ganahan sa inyong ipaminaw or ganahan mo og kanta nga ipatukar nga wala sa atong playlist. Let me know. Text 0999-8876-070 mo kanang ato TMC text number. And you can also message me just like Junior Doding Espinosa on YouTube at Tops Media Center. Natay bago pong kanta karon. This one is Hey, It's Jack Cliff. This one's called Corsonada. On 105.1 TMC, ang pinakasubuanon ng radio station sa Dakbayan. 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
Tagal ko di pinigim-kim ang pag-ibig ko sa'yo. Hindi ko masabi, pero ang rodo gusto na kita. Mahal kita baby, you're on my mind. Di kayo just crazy. Ikaw ang dyan ako, ang aking magandang dala. God will if you attend, it feels like all of your oversized cities and your messy body. Gorgeous smile, girl, let's fly to the aisle. Babe, I'm looking at you and hoping it's true. They call me Jack, you're my best. You love me, ganito. Para sa'yo, lahat sa mundo nito. Ikaw na gusto kong kasama. Girlie, bakit ko hindi mo? Ang laki ng gandang dalaga. Hindi wala kay mahimo. Ayun ba wala ka kay ikaw na ako lang na.
Naminaw ka sa pinakasubuanon nga radio station 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu music. Ikuan aking tanan dali po hindi ka sa pinakalaming nga restaurant. Pungitan ka while magsikit ang duha. Ikaw naman dalang dagat atong lamuyan kay karong ligo dalang maligo sa uwan. Mag-holding hands, making castles in the sand. Ikaw naman, ikaw naman, aning ka na. Every day, celebrate. Ihatag ang ganahan. Abir magpahal sa dalan. Dukhang awat, maluagan. Ikaw naman, aning tanan.
na po mag-shopping plans. Pwede raw magabihan. Ikurang mo tinaw ang imo kaanyang sa kahayag sa buwan. Ikaw man.
105.1 welcomes the new year and the new you with open arms and the promise for more new local music on 105.1 TMC.
Boom! Nueza and Ele. 105.1 TMC, it is now 9:45. 105.1 TMC, it is now 9:45. A quarter more to go before 10. Ayaw mo kalimot, 0999-887-6070. That's 0999-887-6070. Mo ka ng atong text number if you want to join us in our conversation about nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? Okay, maing bungkag ganing mo dihan. Sir Al Ricana. He says he's a new convert of TMC. Daghang salamat sa imong pagpaminaw, Al Ricana, a marketing wizard. This one is Etu.
I was living in a dream, trying to forget you.
Real local talk.
You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jimmy Juice. Right across me is Justine Darius.
Real local music. Real close to home. Top of the morning with Jiggy and Justine. Monday to Friday, 8 in the morning to 12 noon. Top of the morning. Only on 105.1 TMC. The best of us.
Masasasibu, tuhod, siko, hawa, agad. Kung ang sakit sa lutahan kanunay na usa ka palasanon, imailhan ka na sa arthritis o joint deterioration na sagaran kung magkaedad na ka. Kinahanglan kini og kusog og paglahutay aron makaguli mahimo ka na ni Atrazine. May under nature type 2 collagen at methyl sulfonyl methane na makatabang sa pagpanalipod sa iniusag na himsog sa atong lutahan. Make the right move. Inuma ang Artazine adlaw-adlaw. Mapalit ang Artazine sa mga nagulang butika sa nasod. Importante ka pahinumdum ang Artazine dili usa katambal o dili angay gamiton sa pagtambal sa bisan usang matang sa sakit.
Are you in need of custom-made print for your products? Or thinking how to grow your business? Make your brand outstand in the market. Twin B Print Ads, your partner in print advertising, can think out of the box that suits your budget. From your personalized brand to retail or any commercial needs, Twin B Print Ads can deliver. Experience the latest technology in printing at the first of the Visayas. Talk to your print engineers today. Go to www.twinbprints.com to know more about us. Twin B Print Ads, the print engineer.
Bring health into your home. Lacto Coffee Health Alert. Likayi ang cancer. Ang lactobacilli ay anti-cancer activity na magkulang sa pagtubo sa mga cancer-promoting bacteria. Nagpapatudan ng Lacto Coffee Health Drink at live lactobacilli strains. Ang pag-inom ng Lacto Coffee Health Drink na kagalaw lumotektahan kanimo sa mga cancer activity na mahimong nagtubo sa kalawasan. Inom ang Lacto Coffee and bring health into your home. Bring health into your home.
105.1 TMC. You know what? One of last year's biggest discoveries was these guys from Bella Moore. Of course, I'm talking about their huge hit song for 24, Tara Na.
March towards the cosmos. Reach. We are Bellamore.
Hi everyone, I'm Fel. This is Athena.
I'm Mikay.
And I'm Iona. And you're listening to 105.1 TMC.
You need a staycation? Take a break and visit Crown Regency Hotel and Towers, located on Osmeña Boulevard, Cebu City. We have over 389 newly renovated rooms, function rooms, Wanshanlo Chinese cuisine, Prana Med Spa, power gym, and many more amenities for everyone to enjoy. For more information, visit our website at www.crownregency.com or call us at 0947 283 4026. Crown Regency.
If food is your aim, then Wangshanlo Chinese cuisine is indeed at the top of the game. New and improved authentic Chinese menu spearheaded by our Cantonese chef. We are open for dine-in and take-out, also accepting events. Temporarily located at 2nd floor Cafe Glow Tower 1, Crown Regency Hotel and Towers. For inquiries, contact 0947-283-4026 or 032-418-8888.
105.1 welcomes the new year and the new you with open arms and the promise for more local music on 105.1 TMC.
Pwede ba nagunditan ko o piraha paingunin mo ganahan ko sa imong tupad hawiri ko kay masayaw ko
Kasing-kasing nagsadyas ka iba'y mo'y sama kinihugan sa puno ug sa kusog na tuwan Kasing-kasing nagsayos takot tuhindughan kinihugan ako kay ubos sa landong sa buwan
Baile, baile, oh 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 Get
ginugan sa puno sa kusog nga uwan kay uwan sigasing nagsayas pagpupukan ginugan akong bayo salamat sa tuwan baile baile uwa baile baile uwa baile baile uwa baile baile uwa Yes, lawas mo, ganahan mangyud ko, ganahan mangyud ko, ganahan mangyud ko.
Matagapin mo sa lawas ko, kikiling man, wag ko na kuryente, mangyag ko na kuryente, mangyag ko.
Yes, lawas mo, ganahan mangyud ko, ganahan mangyud ko, ganahan mangyud ko.
Matagapin mo sa lawas ko, kikiling man, wag ko na kuryente, mangyag ko na kuryente, mangyag ko.
TMC. Atong tak na karon. Just na sa kabuntagon, we have the latest weather report in Cebu. There will be overcast conditions with sun and clouds mixed developing during the afternoon and partly cloudy skies in some areas. Karong gabi, temperatures will peak at 30 degrees centigrade, dropping at 24 degrees centigrade at night with humidity of 95%. Karon, weather features mostly cloudy skies. I can see that from tops, with winds from northeast at 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, and there's a 50% chance of rain. Yeah, looks like it's going to rain anytime now. At least gikan diri sa tops from 2,000 feet closer to heaven. Murag padung nagig-uwan. Ambot diha ka sa inyo ang lugar sa syudad sa Sugbo. O atong mga tigpaminaw sa Karkar, sa Minglanilla, sa Mandaue, sa Lapu-Lapu, sa Danao. Madunggan man ta dito, mayong bungkag ninyo diha. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. You can join us at 105.1 on your FM bands. This used to be Halo Halo Radio. Now it's called 105.1 TMC. As we look forward to the Sinulog festivities in a few days. That's right. Also, we've got some Sinulog news. In the Sinulog sa Dakbayan, this is the Sinulog celebration of the province. There will be 18 contingents that will be competing in the Sinulog sa Dakbayan, set for January 12 at the Cebu City Sports Center. Mura na siya warm up sa Sinulog of Cebu, kanang Sinulog sa Dakbayan. Na 18 kabuok mga participants will compete, including Banauan Cultural Group, Barangay Camagayan, Londonian Tribe, Asian College of Technology, International Educational Foundation, Aktivong Banaliwanon, Banay San Nicolason, Abiliana National School, Kalunasan Cultural Dance Troupe, Barrio Basak Pardo, Barangay Zapatera, Inayawan Talent Guild Dance Troupe, Maumpong Baniladlon, Hugpong Day Asnon, Lambo Mabolo, Hugpong Mananayaw ng Bayan University of the Philippines, Lumad Basaknon, Hugpong Masidlakon, home of Siomai Festival, Banay Banagon, and Bagong Tribo Kasambagan. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's the pre-Sinulog festivities called the Sinulog sa Dakbayan on 105.1 TMC. Local music has finally found a home. Sulang. .105.1 TMC. Local music has finally found a home on 105.1 TMC, the best of us. That's Karansita and Cookies. Do it in Bisaya. Yes, please. Kaya kibaw ka nga ano why we have to do it in Bisaya.
Bisaya nga dako.
That's exactly. We are Bisaya nga dako, right? Sakto ba? Ha?
English, kay Bisaya ta.
Mo bitaw. That's why you have to do it in Bisaya. Anyway, we have, speaking of Bisaya, let's have some news headlines from Sunstar Cebu. Ang ilang headlines karong buntaga, January 3, 2025. A city councilor justifies 2025 budget approval. Cebu City Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia said the local finance committee's income projection indicates that the Cebu City government can generate enough revenue to match the proposed budget. The Cebu City's government's approved 2025 budget was supposed to be only 12 billion pesos based on projected revenue collection, a city councilor said on Thursday. However, the same council approved a 50 million peso budget for 2023 and a 25 billion peso budget for 2024 despite having similar project revenue income. In both years, the city government failed to meet the expected revenue collections. The Cebu City's approved 14.9 billion 2025 budget was not politically motivated, but rather driven by factors including increased medical program funding and the 2024 revenue collection, said City Councilor Noel Wenceslao, who chairs the Sangguniang Panglungsod Committee on Budget and Finance, in a phone interview on January 2. Wenceslao told Sunstar Cebu that the approved 2025 budget was not influenced by the upcoming elections or any political considerations, following Mayor Raymond Alvin Garcia's claim that it was politically motivated. Garcia said that the budget of his priority programs, including the pro-poor livelihood programs and a few infrastructure projects, was slashed. If you want to know more about this news headline from Sunstar Cebu, please, you can get a copy of the Sunstar Cebu. You can even download their digital copy of their newspapers, which is very convenient. That's actually what I'm reading right now from my cell phone. Daghang salamat. Sunstar Cebu. Maing bungkag ni mo diha. Janro. Maing bungkag ni mo diha. Justin Narvios. Good morning.
Top of the morning.
Good morning, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm great. Sorry it took me some time to get here today.
What happened?
It was just quite traffic, and I had to wait for my
Your driver.
ride to arrive.
Your chauffeur, right? She's always chauffeur driven, right?
For today,
Yeah.
I see the people are about to set up the blinds in here.
I know, right?
Yay!
They're about to blind us.
They're about to blind us.
Yeah.
Shield us from. But that also makes me feel like I'm gonna miss the view, Jiggy.
Yeah.
Pero it's also great, kay.
Yeah.
Grabe sit ka sunny.
Yeah, I know. Because you know what? What is that? Oh, what is that?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So many texts for 105.1 TMC, right? I was just in my
Shell phone?
skin care binge
Ooh.
time a few days ago, and I was watching all of these skincare videos, and one of the biggest factors for destruction or degradation of your skin is really the sun.
Oh, okay.
So I am glad that the blinds are here to shield us from the sun, right?
And protect our skin.
Yeah, to make us look younger.
Yeah.
It's just pretty peculiar how something so good, so life-giving,
can also be
harmful
for you.
Harmful, right? And actually can kill you.
Yeah, it's too much of that.
Yeah, I know. It's just strange how things go, right?
Everything good
we always
becomes bad.
We always talk about that, right? How for example, how
excess of everything.
How for example, how when we speak in Binisaya, but in a street Binisaya, informal, grammatically incorrect way.
Yeah.
And then if we get closer and closer to the academic, the formal way of speaking in Binisaya, it also becomes highfalutin. It also becomes inaccessible, right? Same goes for English, right? I mean, it's just weird how the correct thing becomes inaccessible when you go deeper into it. It becomes konyo. It becomes inaccessible. In the same way, kung in English ka, niya pag human imong in English kaning
it's too academic, using too much vocabulary that's like not used in everyday life.
Yeah, not in an informal way.
Hindi siya practical.
It also becomes inaccessible. So pareha na yun ang sun. Nga ko ang sun, nindot kayo, very life-giving, you know, and all of that stuff. But if you have too much of it, it also becomes
detrimental to yourself.
It also becomes deadly, right?
Yeah.
In fact, mo man ay rason ngano nga ang Mars, ang Venus, and all the other planets in our solar system, walay life because of their distance from the sun. Some of them are too close, right?
And some of them are
too far,
na
right?
Yeah.
So kita
access to the sun,
nata sa
too much or too little.
Yeah, kita nata sa gitawag nila og Goldilocks zone. Nga di ba remember this the story of the bears, right? Nga the what do you call those? The what is that? What were they trying to eat?
Porridge.
The porridge was either too hot or too cold, but there was one that was just right. That's why it's called the Goldilocks zone.
That's for us.
Kita, we're not too far from the sun. We're not too near from the sun. We're just right? Kung gamay pa to'y...
The sweet spot.
The sweet spot.
We're at the sweet spot.
Kung na pa to'y gamay nga distansya sa palayo or paduol, basig na paaigon na data, or kung dili na freeze na tata. But,
Yeah, for sure.
But yet, we're just here.
In the middle.
Floating away, traveling at that unbelievable breakneck speed around the sun.
Yeah.
We don't realize that. We don't even feel that.
No, we don't.
We don't realize
overlook that.
how precarious our situation is in the solar system, right? Nagatuyuk-tuyuk ta og great ball of fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you don't know something.
We take it for granted. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of like pag pandemic. My parents read somewhere na you need to have, because we're just cooped up at home, you need to be exposed to the sun more, and it also helps with the kind of more sterilizing ba?
Sterilizing,
or something like that, like so that you don't easily get sick or something like that. So there was a time like my parents would wake us up really early in the morning.
Yeah.
Kaya it can't be the kind of heat from like 10 to 11. Kaya that's like it'll burn you. So it's gotta be like early morning heat bita, or early morning sunlight rather.
Okay.
So it has to be like 6 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Uh-huh.
So they'd wake us up, and then they'd have us like sit outside and just bask in the sun for like 15 minutes.
Okay.
And I remember me and my siblings would be so tired, and we'd be like, why do we have to do this now? And they're like, no, you just have to do it every day para dili mo dali masik, because you're at home all day.
Yeah.
So I guess it helps, because imagine with online classes and everything, all we did was stare at screens.
Yeah.
So murag, that was our exposure na lang to the
which is
outside.
a kind of radiation too, right?
Kinda a different kind pod.
Yeah.
No?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's also really bad for you.
Okay.
That's why you have to get what do you call that? UV glasses. And I did that too. When I started having online classes, I had to wear like the different
Speaking
kind
of UV, UP High School Cebu is now accepting applicants for grade 7 and grade 11 for school year 25-26. Qualifications for admission at UP High School Cebu: students must come from a low-income household, children of UP personnel, children of UP Cebu alumni, and talented student athletes. Okay, for more information, I'll post it on my Facebook and Tops Media Center's Facebook, so you can, how do you call this? There's a QR code for you to scan, so you can get more information about the UP High School Cebu accepting applicants for grade 7 and grade 11. And I can already hear from the corner of my ear, and I can see them from the corner of my eye. There's a corner in my eye. There's a corner in my ear.
If you tilt your head ever so slightly.
Na madunggan akong gihiskot na sila og kortina. Daghang salamat Dan Climaco and our friends from Curtains Unlimited, right?
Ooh, thank you so much.
Yes. Justine, si JR Duding.
Hi, JR Duding.
Nalipay na siya kaayo nga ang Sinulog Kuno is near. And it's back in Abiliana Sports, Cebu City Sports Center, sa Abiliana. And the parade is back in the usual Osmeña Boulevard, Mango Avenue. Woohoo. Wow, that's a lot of fun. I just, okay, numdum pa ko Justin nga. Maglakaw-lakaw ko, be part of the
part of the fun is actually going out.
Part of the fun is walking around with a parade, right? The magsikit-sikit, that was part of the fun. That was part
and all
of
the food stalls and everything else.
Part of the experience of the Sinulog festivities, right? Kaya mo man na Mardi Gras man na siya, so that's really part
walking
of that. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be doing that this year. I kind of want to, labi na kasi Jaden wanted to experience. Ako pa siya ka-try ng maglakaw-lakaw. There are some, I think before we went to the mall, pero it was so puno, so we just stayed in one place, ba? So I think hopefully we'll be able to do that this year. Knowing her and my brother, mag-duty sila sa Revo, so I know they'll be very, very busy.
Yeah. I don't know if we will bring back that vibe, or I hope it's not too late ba. Kinumdum jugo atong una nang nindot jugayo. It was nice to finally walk around Cebu. That feeling alone ba? Just that feeling alone to be able to we're taking over the city feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're taking over the city.
You know what I mean? Like
I know exactly what you mean, because you usually wouldn't walk around that much on like a regular day.
Yeah.
Pero now because of Sinulog you would. And then all the nice floats put, all the displays and all that. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So now when I was a kid,
Yeah.
my dad used to take me to walk around, and then nabitaw na yung mga tattoos nga imorang stick on.
Yeah.
Like stick on, peel off tattoos.
Yeah,
and then,
I remember that.
When I was a kid, my
Yeah.
dad used to buy a lot of those, and then we'd put them on.
And I remember before, nga kanang bitong butangan ka og paint sa imong naong. That was like a badge of honor, because the more paint you had, the more cute you were.
Was that really the thing? Because I really hated that. Like, I would walk around. I remember my ano would walk. My dad-
Pasabot na nga naay ganahang mga tao nga mo hikap si imong naong, sabot cute ka. Kay kung walay ganahan mo hikap sa
That's the
imong
thing.
naong.
Yeah, if scary
O
pud
niya,
ka.
maikog sila mo hapahid sa imong naong kay kanang bati na daan. Dili malo mura kag nasad ni nung ka buwang wa may mohikap sa akong naong kay luoyan ako
Moingon na
kay.
lang ka, can you please, ano mi?
Oo.
Can you
Kaya
please?
makakita sa sa'yo nun.
wait?
Kaning ngilaran anig naong.
Yan na lang, oy. Yan na lang, oy.
Pintalan pa ginato.
Yeah, I remember that was a thing too, no?
O ni I hope nga kanang walay magbinuang bitaw nga that will give that fun activity a bad name ba. Kaya naman ko yung nadunggan nga kanang tambutso ko no sa ganing itom ko no suit ko no sa tambutso and all of that stuff and napayhugaw ang uban. So please don't do that. I mean that was just like
Yeah, you know what? There's so much good things about the celebration
Yeah.
that sometimes maguba because
Yeah.
of like mga
Na-
binuang ba?
mga binuang.
Yeah, that ruin it. I also
Yeah.
heard about some people who would spit on the paint.
Yeah.
So
I know.
then, you know.
Ano sa may point niyo
Yeah,
di ba?
because then it ruins the entire point of the fun
Yeah.
and the celebrations
Yeah.
at hand.
And I think Manggod, diba, I told you about this feeling that I have when I was in high school. I feel like we're one organism, right? I told you about this, right? Now, when I sat there in my classroom, I feel like we're all one. Kana manggong kanang when you're a crowd, more about like when you're a part of kung sugboanon ka, if that's your perspective, okay? Onya kaning we're all just one. We're one organism. We're sugboanon. We're Filipinos. We're human beings, right? Unya, whatever you do unto others, right? Kung imong hugaw-hugawan ang naong niya, especially what we know now about the pandemic, for example, masakit na siya or may tabuan na niya, maabot na gyapon na nimo, di ba?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a
That's a nice way to look at it. Because some people, they just do things like, oy, pakiba. Like,
Yeah.
it's not me bitaw. It's
Yeah.
not going to be done to me. But
Yeah.
you forget that fact
Yeah.
that you are one. And eventually, it will affect you too.
Exactly. So kung imong hugaw-hugawan iyang nawa ka kibaon sa mabalik pud nimo, di ba?
Kana.
Wata kibaw masumbagan pag yun ka.
I hope so.
Or madakpan ka, di ba?
Actually, I hope that's the case for those who...
Notwithstanding that ba?
Yeah.
You know, if that doesn't happen, if you get lucky, nga di ka masakpan,
So-
kaning nagi may tama.
So there are consequences always to look out
There
for.
will always be consequences.
Yeah.
Kaya ka na sa maghubog-hubog, ay sa palabig hubog-hubog. Uy,
Yeah, kana
You
bitaw
know what I
nga di
mean?
na kakamata niya na
Yeah.
nakasa kilid sa daan nga.
ayaw sa pag maoy-maoy. Di ako mag-maoy-maoy ka to sa inyong balay, oh.
Yeah, or with people
Yeah,
you trust,
yeah,
dili kay out in
yeah.
public. You know what? Also, one thing I'd like to remind people, in Sinulog, we notice this a lot sa Revo, no? Kanang mag-duty ang Revo sa simbahan. A lot of people would go to the mga masses, to the mga novena, walay kaon. And so, daghan kaayo mo faint.
Mga mo faint.
Yes, in the
Di-
middle of the
Lain
mass.
pala siyang klaseng nga faint. Dili ni ka ng black faint, di ba? Ano sa nga faint ta? Pasabot mo.
Faint ka ng makuyapan.
Makuyapan.
Yes.
Amin ako ka ng black faint.
Black
nga
faint.
Pintal sa naong. Dili rin mangkakuya.
Daghan kay makuyapan.
Yeah.
So, don't forget to eat, to
Yeah.
have something sugary before you go to the mass. Kay,
Kibaw kang Justin, ang akong paminaw
Huot
na magod dili
siguro ba?
man na tungod sa way kaon, tungod man na sa way hangin siguro.
That too, but most of them, when they're asked kung nana sila sa first aid station, a lot of them, nikaon kawa. Because a lot of them are trying to catch the mass early. Because, ano man, kanang, everyone's rushing to the church.
Kay normal makina sa ako ang experience baka na ako sige man ko ganing host og run, di ba?
Yeah, so you don't eat.
Kadaghanan na di ba na mangaon sila or naa na sila panggamay na kay tanan. So
Yeah.
I think it has something to do with their health. Also maybe
Kanapod. Secondly, huot kaayo sa
huot kayo
spaces.
mo na siya
So,
pinakapayat
they
yun na
can't
kan
really breathe.
di sila kaginhawa, di ba?
Yeah.
So I think unsa may solusyon na be?
Well, they would always just advise them to have something sugary with them.
No, what I
and then
mean
take
ba
breaks.
kana huot ba?
Every once in a while,
Unsa may
dapat
solusyon na?
mugawas gid ka.
Okay.
Like, although people would hate that because they'd have to lose their spot, if you
Yeah,
really feel
yeah.
cooped up, like, di na kakinhawa, you have to leave the crowd. Like, you have to go
And
to
I think it's also important
a bigger space.
for the churches to have their audio kana mga speakers sila nga madunggan sa gawas, di ba?
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
there are seats also
naiuban,
outside
naiuban,
no,
di
for
ba?
some churches.
Oh, madunggan kun dili manggali na ay mga video kana mga LED screen
Yeah.
para mudako-dako sa dang space magbok-bok.
Yeah.
I'm sure because of the pandemic experience we already
Yes.
know that, right? I mean, we don't need to be always kaning elbow to elbow all the
elbow to
time,
elbow,
right? For a
that's true.
long period of time.
But I'm expecting that with the Sinulog this year.
Mo
I
na,
think
Sharon, mo na,
after the
Sharon.
pandemic, everyone's out na. I'm
Mo
hope-
lagi.
I have a feeling this year mas crowded ng Cebu. And I think the tourists are gonna be coming
Yeah.
all here to
Yeah.
Cebu. So that's also good. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Mona actually, di ba, sinulog was January, right?
Mm.
Unya, what was that? Was it?
Third week?
No. I'm talking about Because I remember I was so scared about what because I think did we like not do a sinulog one year? Was that like
Maybe pag pandemic, did we not do one ba? I don't remember.
we didn't do the last one, the 2020 2022. But anyway, that was one of the greatest fears that we had because like sinulog and then we're not supposed to be close together and all that
yes, and
stuff.
we're not supposed to be out
Yeah,
tapos pa.
Anyway, so I hope that
now-
fear will not still be there. But I'm sure there's a little bit of that gihapon.
Not gyapon, I think.
More
People are
cautious.
still a little bit, yeah.
Cautious na siguro ang mga tao. But not too cautious. We won't have any more fun, right?
Yeah. And
Anyway, Justine, we're already looking back at the previous sinulogs, and which brings us to our topic for today, this January 30, 2025. Ang atong isgutan, third day.
Yeah, January 3rd.
Ang atong isgutan karon is nostalgia. Ngano man nga ganahan man ta mo puyo sa atong gahapon. Why do we want to live in the past? I don't know if that's the correct translation, right?
Yeah.
Why do we want to live in the past? Ngano man nga like I was telling everybody earlier before you got here nga during my first radio station days sa katong Magic, katong Killer B pa yang pangana, ami show gitawag na mo Beef Friday Madness kana mga among ipatukar mga kinaraan.
Oh yeah, old songs.
Pagbalhin ako sa Y101, kinaraan sad kada Biyernes karon adlaw. Friday Gold Rush.
Yeah.
So akong pangutan is ngano ganahan man tamo. Why do we want to live in the past? Why do we always want to look back in the past? Kaya kanang mga kanta god, like I love to say, songs are like time markers,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Kani mo ni natabo na ko aning kantaha. I have stories of some of the songs that from the 80s and the 90s about where I know exactly where I am, place and time. But why do we want to keep on rehashing it, reliving it? Like is your present moment so bad? Unsa man nganong ganahan man ka mo puyo sa imong gahapon? Ngano ka? Let us know about what you feel about that.
Yeah.
0999-887-6070.
Or join us at chats. That's Tops Media Center on
Yes.
YouTube, guys. I don't have the view of the chats right now, but I
Okay.
know that Nasi JR Doding Espinoza.
Si Janro is here.
Janro's here
Yeah,
too.
he's actually on his way here, riding the Tops bus, heading to Tops right now. Wow, and good.
Wow. Top of the morning to also to all the Tops bus drivers and all the passengers
Yes.
who are listening to us right
Yes.
now. Let's see who else. Pulosopo podcast.
Yeah. Oh, si Pilosopo Podcast na mina po sus pagka-Pilosopo ra ba nito na. Anyway,
so nostalgia.
I'll start with you, Justine. Like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about why we always want to rehash about the past? Why do we always look back? Ngano man gyud nga sige tag hisgot sa atong mga kagahapon. Nganom de ang atong karon.
Is it that bad?
Is it that bad?
Yeah.
Is nothing of the present moment good that we
that
have
you
to
always have to look back?
Yeah, we always have to
That's
look back, right? Ngano man ikaw, Justin, how do you feel about kaning our tendency
to look back on the past,
to romanticize the past?
Yeah.
Ngano man?
I think it really has something to do with I would like to look at this in a more positive perspective.
Okay.
Not that
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way.
it's not a bad thing, but I would say that the reason why most people would prefer to look back on the past is not really because the future or the present is not so promising, so more ganahan na lang sila maghuna-huna about the past. I think there's just something about human nature that there's beauty in recollection, and then when we try to navigate where we need to go and what we need to do now, we look into the past, like how we were able to succeed before.
Okay.
So like how was it there before? How was I able to do this before? Or like what did I used to do before and how can I incorporate that now? So I think it's like looking into the past to navigate like what to do in the present and the future. So that's why I think people look back on the past to understand what to do. But not necessarily because like, the present is so bad.
Okay.
And if you're a sentimental person, I would consider myself quite sentimental. I like looking back in the past, and I
Okay.
think that's one of the reasons why I do like reading my old journal entries. Like I mentioned yesterday, we were talking about kind of mga journaling and what are the benefits of journaling for you. I do like looking back, malingaw ra ko to see like, oh, that's how I used to be there. That's how I used to think. Those are the things I used to do. And speaking of music as time capsules, there are some songs bitaw that we associate with some parts of our lives, like moments ba. And it's interesting to it's interesting how when we listen to that song, murag mabalik gid kas panahon.
Yeah.
Like you remember the exact time and place where you used to listen to that song, or if you're a performer, if you're a singer, the time that imo nang gikanta for the first time, katong time nga nag-struggle pa kag practice ato nga kantaha. So I like that. I actually like looking back in the past, and yeah, I don't know though if it has something to do with like if I feel like the past was better than the present. I can't really compare that too. I can't say that my past is better than my present. Mao na ganahan ko muhuna-huna about the past. Pero I just like to recall and remember.
You know what? I'm my question actually. I want to refine the question. Like unsa may murag purpose anang looking back at the past. Is that even productive? Because you know why? Let's just take the classic example here is like anang war, for example. Gubat. Kanang gubat sa Israel, for example, right? And is it Palestine?
Middle East.
In the Middle East, right? Kana sila magsige na sila tanaw sa ilang kagahapon. Sige na sila look back nga kamo mo ninyong gibuhat na mo. Nya ingon sa sila kani mo ninyong gibuhat na mo.
Yeah.
So it's why kahumanan?
So then,
it's turtles all the way down. So wala di gid masulbad ang problema nila kay sige mas tanaw silang gahapon.
Yeah, that's a good way.
And I think it applies to the human condition also. Nga murag kana imuhang mga traumas, kana imong past ba? Imong mga traumas, your victories, your defeats, imuhang mga kalipay o kaguol, na naman nimo. Dili naman na mawagtang gid mo kay you experience that. You probably can't access it. Maybe it's not really in top of mind, right? But that is who you are. Your past.
It's indented na.
It's already there in you, right?
Exactly.
So kung sige kag tanatamas agapon, especially if you want to solve something now, mura kag sa gubat mang way kahumanan.
Yeah.
Kasi sige tanas ba sige you're gonna go all the way down to Adam and Eve, and then that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know,
so I think what you're talking about
samo
now.
kay tanan ba nga sige tanas mo kagahapon, if you want a problem solved, isn't it better to see what can we do now? You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm talking about problem solving, but I'm talking about progress.
So you're talking about the dangers of dwelling too much in the past when it comes to problem solving.
Yes,
so you
yes.
feel like it's not as productive
It's
as
not-
like
it's not
think about
productive.
where you can pick up from where you left
Because
off.
for
on
example,
that.
mag-away mo. Managdiayon kita, mag-away ta. Justin,
You did this, you did that.
Nganong imo man kung gihuwarag kape, for example, niya pagimon ko ingon na ka, Jig, kinumdum ka atong last year nga hiwaran ko nimo kape. So dili man good gihuwaran ka na ato kape kay gihuwaran ko nimo ka sukar. Ana, so murag ha? Wala
So
man
then
good.
all you're
Nya
doing
katong-
is fault finding na
Oh,
lang until the past.
Katong asukar nga akong gihuwad, wa am to nak gituyo. Gituyo to nimo oy. You know, and then it becomes like this whole victimhood thing.
Yeah, it becomes like this
whole.
it's like nang lista ka ba?
Oh, lagi.
You can go back to the past like, oh no, you did this, no, you
Lagi.
did that, you did that.
So for problem solving, I'm not sure if that's productive, right? And I don't even know how that plays a role in just your day to day without even looking for thinking about problems, right? Like isn't like kanindot man kay imong karon. Nindot man nganong magunahuna pa man ka sa imong kagahapon unsa may naa ni adto nga nindot kaayo nga mas nindot pa sa imong karon. More looking back at the past is like telling the present you're not worth it.
Kay sige ramang kog tan-aw sa pa, yeah.
Present moment now you're not worth it.
I'd rather look back on the past.
Because yesterday was better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Last year was better. 2
Okay.
years from now was better.
That's what happens when you
Yeah.
dwell too much on the
Yeah,
past.
that's called
Okay.
dwelling. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with that. Dwelling on the past can be dangerous for you, but I
Yeah.
feel like the past is there for a certain reason. Nga di sa di mo ma-deny.
Of course
you
not.
You cannot ever shed away your past. You cannot also
Absolutely
turn
not.
a blind eye to that and
Exactly.
say, bahala na,
Like I
focus
said,
ra gid ko.
like I said, that's already in you.
Oh. Di sa na ni mo ma-deny ba nga murag, I'm gonna turn away from it and say like, okay, now is now, so I don't care what happens in my past. It's not gonna define me. That's true, but though.
You're not turning away from the past because you are the collection of everything,
everything.
you've ever done. That's already you.
Yeah.
That's already in you.
Yeah.
So,
I actually don't believe in the saying your past doesn't define you, because to a certain extent it does define you.
Yeah.
But you have a lot to do with, there's a lot more to do with like what you can do now in
Yeah.
the present.
Yeah.
Pero you have to also take in account unsa mo gid ang purpose anang past nimo, because it's not just there for you
Yeah.
to look back
Yeah.
and regret, or for you to dwell on, to use as bala bitaw nimo
Okay,
when you
okay.
attack other people.
Okay.
So I think I remember we learned this in like history before. They mentioned something like the past is there for you to navigate where to go in the future. So it's ironic because you would think, now why would I need to look back on the past when why do I need to see like an instruction manual? Because sometimes you need to look at what you should not do. Like the past supposedly is a way for you to learn from your mistakes,
Yeah.
no?
But here's the thing, Justine, about mistakes and things that you did in the past that were wrong. Mo na disadvantage or advantage of a young person. Because a young person, for example, has not done something or has not tried this new way of let's just say running the government or creating a solution, a system, for example, wa siya nakasuway ana. So iyang buhaton, because of his ignorance, because of his lack of knowledge, or maybe because he hasn't tried it yet, iyang suwayan, right? And kana manggong
Then what happens
ang
then
mga
if
butang
magsuway?
mga butang manggod nga wala ni work ni adtong una does not necessarily mean it will not work now. You know what I mean? So
Dili siya murag
dili man na siya automatic.
1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah,
like it's not what you call that, like a hard and fast rule.
Dili man ka makaingon.
Wala man siya ni work ng system before, so it's not gonna work now.
Mo'y nakatunan ako atong una nga kani siya di ginamahimo. Di ka kato ni atong una man to.
Yeah.
Wala pa man to nimo gibuhat karon.
Yeah.
So kato nga process, kato nga pamaagi, even if it failed in the past, dili na automatic nga mo fail now. Right? So kanang tao nga batan-on pa, dili siya wa siya nakahiagom sa let's just say sa defeat or sa kasakit aning butanga or sa failure aning
In that
butanga because
time in the past.
because he hasn't done it yet. So basig suwayan ni niyag balik. Kay basig mo work ni karon. Kay daghan man kay mga good ideas man good Justin nga timing ra gyud.
A
Timing ra
circumstance
gyud.
also.
Oh,
Yeah.
timing ra gyud. Ang kinabuhi ang buhay timing ra gyud na siya.
So it might not hit at a certain period of time. It might not be successful. Pero
Yeah.
in later on,
Yeah.
kay it would be more applicable.
Yeah, mo
that
apply na
makes
siya aning panahon na, pero maybe your idea was too ahead of its time, right? Or maybe imo ang idea kaning wala pa na timing or kuwang
Or
lagam.
people weren't ready for it,
Yeah.
or society didn't have the
So
resources
muna-
to support
muna
that
siya,
pa at
muna
that
siya,
time.
oo.
Yeah, that's true.
So nostalgia actually can be a bad thing also. Nga makaingon kang you always look for solutions in the past because time, those were the good old days, blah 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 blah. Which is
Pero
fine.
is it still applicable, and is it still kana
Exactly.
magamit karon nga
Speaking of going back in time, Justine, na request o ganing listener
Ooh.
override. Ato ning buhaton be, AI.
Listener override starts now.
Very 80s vibe, no? Oh wait, I know this song.
Yeah. Aha!
What's the name of this?
Aha!
Ahas, what's the name of it?
Take on me.
Take on me.
Asa ko tina, bro? Ano? Ay, salamat. Hindi kita mapagod, bro. Mo na natabo sa buwan. Ang feeling ako mo na natabo sa Israel. And war in general ba? Like,
Yeah.
sige, this like, oh, you did this to me, you did this to me. Ay, kumanan. So, magkuman.
Exactly, kasi naman ba?
Oh. So you can't find a solution in the past. Parang ako, especially when it comes to war.
Kaya they keep pulling, mag-god ka na maglista ba? Like, oh wait, but you guys did this, but you guys did that.
Oo.
Ana-ana lang. Who suggested this song?
Thank you, AI. or I'm sure she's not willing to let go of the power, right?
No, she's
or
like,
I'm to override. Please don't.
But thank you so much for our listener over. That's a great song, really 80s
J.R.
vibe.
Doding. Ingon siya ko na ako, ang old friend ko no kay si Papa Joe. Of course, si Joe, he's an old friend. Silingan man ako sa Kabahar Guadalupe. Nganong hisgot man ka ni Jolen.
Top of the morning.
J.R. Doding.
Also, top of the morning, Herbert Abellana. And Zarek Leona,
Yeah.
he says, Maajong top of the morning, Jig and Justine. Past is a nice place to visit, but an awful place to live. That's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. And
Visit ra.
Yeah.
Dili live.
And how about solutions? Are there solutions in the past?
There are solutions to the past.
Are
that
there? Are there?
I think you're right to say that there are some things that might have worked for other people in the
Yeah.
past that you can adapt and
Yeah.
make use of now.
Yeah.
Because it's not always now. Whatever failed also in the past will not succeed now.
Mm.
Pero as Zyric Leona said, it's not a good place to live. I
Yeah.
agree with that, said
Yeah.
good. Kana bitang, you have to strike a balance between taking inspiration from the past and also taking inspiration from the past and actually living there, actually like dwelling on it so much that it becomes counterproductive or negative to you. Because yeah, I tend to do that. Yeah, like if somebody wrongs me, I'll remember. Like I'll suddenly have a receipt of like all the things that I used
Oh
to do,
my
and I'll be
God,
like,
really?
yeah, but you know what? In my head, I'll be like, this person did this, did that, and then I'll remember. I get reminded rather of what happened in the past. So it's hard. But yeah.
Because the thing, Mangud, with the past, Mangud, is it's done.
Yeah.
There's nothing that you can do about it.
Except
zero.
I disagree.
Zero
There is
things
nothing.
you
There
can
should
do.
be a sumpay. There's nothing you can do about the past except learn from it. Because then some people make it as an excuse,
No, no,
good
yeah,
for like
correct, yeah.
incompetence
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
something wrong. They can be like, "Huma naman na, there's nothing I can do. Like I already did it in the past."
But you should have learned on it with the moment you did it, right?
Kana po.
You know what I mean?
And you shouldn't. For example, you have mga mistakes.
So you really can't change it. Yes, of course you can learn from it, but learning from it happens now, right?
Karon na, at the present na lang. Kaya nahuman naman. So all you can do is just...
Nahuman na siya. So
Oh.
in terms of changing it, in terms of making it, unless you can go back in time, right? So katong nahitabo nimo, Justin, nga let's say somebody wronged you and you remember it, like first of all, the person that wronged you is probably not the same person that you were
Yeah.
angry at, right?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
You know from a cellular level that all of our cells
We change.
are shed
More or less.
for more or less in 7-8 years, right? So on a cellular level, that's not the person that
Yeah.
that
On
you-
the on a biological level,
yeah,
supposedly.
yeah, on a biological level, that's not even him. Her brain is probably
Lahi na.
so much smarter or so much dumber, whatever the case may be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If he's an alcoholic, then maybe the neurons. Okay, there's a connection between
Yeah, yes.
neuronal damage and alcohol.
Alcohol
but
consumption.
That's another
Oo.
story. So yeah. Maayong bungkag ni Dave. Naminaw siya karon, ni-request siya og humba from scrambled eggs. Gusto ko
Nice song.
according to him, gusto ko mobalik bro sa akong kagahapon kay mas peaceful man akong life og wala pa jud
Before.
daghang distraction like gadgets kuno. Living in a simple life is what I look forward in my future. Living a simple life kuno kay iyang kagahapon kuno wala kunoy gadgets. But see the thing is Dave, that will never happen again. Your
na.
reality is that you live in a technologically
We're
advanced
too deep into that na.
and inundated world. Wala na gyud kay mabuhat in terms of living in a world with no technology because it's here and it's in front of us. It's all over. You may opt not to use it, right? Pwede nimo dili nimo gamiton, pwede dili ka mag-text, pwede dili ka madaog cellphone at your own disadvantage or advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I
Pero
mean?
the rest of the world that you live in is
Yeah.
already deep into that. Like
Yeah.
it's already integrated na
Yeah.
good in time
Yeah.
now nga. Technology, I don't think we'll ever go back to that. But you know what, Chiki? I saw a post about that. Like,
Okay.
The most you can do na lang siguro is to minimize that for the youth.
For sure.
And
yeah.
so I saw this girl like she was like, get ready with me to go on a 12-hour road trip with my toddlers, no screen time. And it reminded me when I was a kid bitaw, kung mag-road trip ta, wala mo tayo mga iPad.
Okay.
Like, I'm glad I wasn't raised as an iPad kid. Me and my siblings, we didn't have like, we had phones when we were older na. And yeah, until now, we still have this rule. Like, if we're together out of the family, you're not supposed to, like, listen to music.
Okay.
Unless, like, everyone's asleep na good and ba. Or, like, you're not supposed to use your devices on the table. We have
Okay.
those kinds of norms at home.
Okay.
That's in my family.
Okay.
Pero I saw from that post of the girl, it was interesting to see how ang iyang gipangbaon sa mga anak kay mga toys good, like, toys like fidget toys and other toys that you would not require bitaw, like kanang what kids would do now. This is from my experience, Jiggy. I go to restaurants and I see kids who are like glued to their iPads watching Coco Melon or something like that. So it made me realize na even though we're deep into technology and it's like super integrated, di na nato we can't go back to that time good wherein there were no distractions.
Okay.
Na magid na, but it's really up to you, like how you want to run it in your family. Because in that example, pwede naman gid ka mo buot. Even though everyone's getting like the latest iPad, you don't have to get your kid an iPad.
Yeah.
You know? So like, you don't have to follow what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
And you can still enforce. And I saw some people now, even pag Christmas, sa internet gihapon, I saw, ang ilang gipang gift sila mga bata, instead of like brand new phones and devices, gipang gift sila og, what do you call that? Like a really old TV that you have to play by tape or CD player.
Like a tube like a
DVD player.
DVD player.
Yeah.
Kaya ang mga TV at mga tubes, they were made out of tubes, like cathode rays and tubes and all of that stuff. Kana mga karaan po ng mga amplifiers, mga tubes man na sila. Even the old radio station transmitters were also made of tubes. Are you talking about that?
No, I'm talking about like it was like a CD player or a tape player, something like that. So,
cassette player.
Oh,
maybe like cassette player.
Pero
siguro.
ang DVD ni siya. I mean, it's like the film is in that
Anyway,
thing.
what's the point?
Yeah, it was interesting to see how now in 2024, like parents can afford to get their kids smartphones instead of that. You can watch everything on Netflix now. They can watch films on YouTube. But to minimize the distraction, the ads, the possibility of them going to other sites and all that, kanang gitagan sila DVD player para ang ma-play lang nila are the CDs or that they are able to provide. So it's interesting ba nga, until now they brought that back. And for me it seems healthy for like kanang the mental health of kids. So yeah, even though it's integrated, you mentioned man earlier nga, di na nato ma-erase ng technological life from now. You can't escape it.
There's just no way, yeah.
Yeah, pero I think there's a way to like minimize it na lang. So it's like diskarte na lang na nimo ba? So yeah.
Well, like the bigger question is probably why do you need to minimize it? What's wrong with it? I think isn't there like a point nga, like a Goldilocks zone nga sakto
yeah, supposedly
sakto ra nga dili palabian di sab kanang let social media, let the cell phone be your instrument, not the other way around, right? You know, because this is an instrument. This is an instrument. In fact, if I gave this gadget with all of its features to the 10-year-old me or even the 15-year-old me, I would say this is a miracle.
Daghan kay kag makaton.
No, this is nothing short of a miracle. Like how can what? You can watch TV on that small thing. No, on that small thing and asa mang wire? Where's the wire? You
Where's
know what I mean?
Where's the wire?
You are nothing short. If we went back in time, Justine, 30, 40 years ago, right, and brought a cell phone with all of its features, you will be like a god. You will seriously be like a god because what? Where is the wire? How does that work? You know, like how can you do that? How can you measure your steps?
Yeah.
You know, like just imagine how can you watch a movie? How can you watch a movie which was just released like 2 seconds ago in the opposite side of the world? You will be like a superhero. You will be like a mythical creature. Nothing short of that. That's how it will feel like for somebody who will go back in time. So Kanisha, this is very powerful. And for somebody who is now in 2025, who will ignore this power, do it at your own peril. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is useful.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like in schools, I would say in the academe, no, how a lot of educators would discourage the use of AI in learning.
Okay.
And then I remember we had this discussion with other teachers and with some students as well. And they're asking about like, can we integrate AI, for example, in research or in making a thesis? And I really told them, yeah, use it. And they always get surprised. They're like, what do you mean use it? And I'm like, you have to use it appropriately, but you can't avoid it. Because it's already there. I mean, you can't literally tell all your students, don't use AI in your projects. It's there for them to use. It's there as a tool to help them supposedly. But not for them to lazily write their papers and then ask the AI to do it. Pero to a certain extent, there's that Goldilocks zone, that healthy zone. Grabe gid kay siya ka-helpful in helping you find sources and helping you kanang paraphrase and helping you find recurring themes in a paper. So for me, don't be afraid of using that. Okay, that's for me. I feel like everyone's afraid of that. They're like, oh, you should not use good AI in schoolwork. I'm like, no, you should, because it's there. And everyone's using that now. I feel like there's also a danger of you being behind. Like, everyone's using that now. Ikaw, di ka kabaw mo to use it to your advantage, to use it the right way, then you'll be behind also. So.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of UP, shout out to our friends in UP.
Top of the morning.
Leo Malagar, Chancellor Leo Malagar said in one of our conversations with whiskey and in coffee, he actually uses AI, encourages kids, his students to use AI in problem solving. So when they're being asked to defend now, ang pangutana is unsa imong gipangutana sa AI because the skill man god in AI that's required is to formulate the question, right?
To get the answer that
to
you
get
need.
To the answer. So ang ayang ipangutana dili kaning sakto ba or sayop yung answer because most likely sakto man ang AI siguro in
more or less
diba?
Sources,
pero ang iyang pangutana dili ang nganong sakto or dili unsa imong gipangutana.
Exactly. And the art of questioning is a skill that everyone needs to learn regardless if na AI or not. Because to be honest, kung naamang gid na ang tool diha, no matter how advanced the AI is, if you don't know how to use it well, if you don't know how to ask it the right questions, then you'll never really kind of maximize its potential.
Correct.
Di sa di mo makuha ang answer. So I like that professor uses that, focuses on that.
Because it's an instrument that's already there. Ang problema lang sa nasong AI or anything that involves the internet also is nasa mga tao nga why access internet in town. Wala tay access when they go home. Wala sila internet. Unsa man na nila? Diba? So mga tupa sila coffee shop niya. Mahal man ang mapalit ka kape, dili man na.
It's the same pag pandemic nga, pag online classes, ang struggle of a lot of students, mo nadaghan ka ng undang school.
Correct.
Because a lot of people couldn't afford laptops. A lot of people couldn't afford stable Wi-Fi connection to do like a class 8 hours a day, to do an online stream 8 hours a day. So that's difficulty.
Naabot na tag Wi-Fi inin, abot na tag internet ani naon.
No, that's part of nostalgia, man. We're looking back at like how we didn't have that before. No, that's part of nostalgia ba.
And we are imagining it to be a better world ba? Nga wa kuno tay Wi-Fi itong una mas nindot kuno kayo itong una nga
I disagree.
Wi-Fi. No, but some people, but they romanticize the past when life was simple and all that stuff. But
Crazy ka ayo sa una, like how my grandpa would have to do mga thesis papers. Like
Yeah.
I can imagine having to go to now I can look for sources from all over the world, research papers from countries I have not even heard of yet. Kanang mga ideas na Western. Imagine before, like my grandpa, like they'd have to go to a library and actually like scan through books. Yung mag-unahay pagid kag borrow sa books.
Yeah,
Kay
exactly.
somebody else could borrow it, so your classmates could like literally get it before you do,
Yeah.
and then hog it or
Yeah.
gatekeep it,
Yeah,
diba?
or not return it.
Kana, not return it. And then my mom said nighttime sa una nga typewriter lang. I have a typewriter, by the way, Jiggy.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, it was my grandfather's typewriter. And then I remember pag pandemic, I was so obsessed with it.
Okay.
My brother bought me ribbons for that pod
Oh,
para sa ink ba.
naman yung ribbon. Oh.
He bought me
Okay,
refilled ribbons
okay,
for that.
okay.
Because I was so obsessed lagi. Everything I would typewriter sa baa lagi, sa balay.
Why don't you just kaning chisel na lang the words on a rock?
Kana.
Why don't you just do that?
Oh, yeah, that
Since
would be
you're
good.
since you're
Since I'm already doing that.
going the typewriter, why don't you just do it the good old fashioned way?
Nga i-chisel na lang sa
Just
rock.
like the 15
Or-
commandments.
No. What if I just
chisel it on a rock?
paper? I know. What if I just get like a stick and a leaf and then start writing on the leaf?
Yeah, but
Kinda lang.
that's a recently advanced technology.
Mas old ang chisel.
Chisel
Ah,
na lang mo
on a rock.
sa rock. diba?
Commandments.
Diba?
My mom said in her time before, nagka-write pa daw siya mga papers. You have to type it on the typewriter.
Yeah.
Then if masayup ka, dili idawat sa teacher. They don't. Then there are some policies that don't allow white ink. So I'm like, what do you do? She's like, you have to retype everything.
Things have changed.
Oh God, I would cry.
dramatically,
I
right?
would cry if that was
Yeah.
me.
So usab na gyud ang kalibutan karon.
Thank God.
Roots on 105.1 TMC.
The best of us.
Hey, come here, bro.
Good morning. How are you?
It's been the first time, right? Since I met you at Top, since Y101.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you call this?
We haven't seen you
Nostalgia.
since last year.
Yeah, I know. It's a nostalgia, right?
Technically since
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Oh, is it okay if I can join
Yes,
you?
go ahead, go ahead.
Use this just
Okay.
Use this.
Here, that will use this one.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Huh? You met Justina ba?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
In Y101 or in here?
Here.
Just here.
okay.
Just here.
I think that was the time you were in Siargao.
Okay.
And then he even brought what's that in General? Cassava cake? No?
Yeah, cassava cake.
So
yes.
yummy from ano.
Yes, you've tried the cassava cake.
Yeah.
from Marvel, right?
Can you try to listen? Can you,
Excuse me, General.
Okay, no worries,
the
no worries.
rest
Yeah, no worries.
listen? Can you hear it?
Wait. Getting it like that. Okay. Yep, I can hear it.
Not here.
Not now. Yes, there.
How's the volume? How's the volume?
Good.
Okay lang?
But I can hear you.
No, because because I'm not talking. So put that here.
So I have an idea to start to kick off our. Wait 1 moment.
No, don't use that. Oh, this one. So our conversation today is about nostalgia. Looking back at the past.
Okay. No, that's awesome. And I have, in fact, a really wonderful breathing exercise.
No, we're not gonna do exercises today. We're gonna go.
Okay. Or we're just gonna go through
Nostalgia.
Okay, no worries. So how's working here, by the way, Jiggy?
Good.
pass the NU ha.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Okay.
You mentioned in your comments before to let us try your blue turnip, but there was the one that Jiggy tried last time, the butterfly pea.
That's glutamate.
That's the one.
That's the glutamate.
Jiggy, the one that you tried there, jigging a butterfly pea.
That's the glutamate.
We kept laughing because it's butterfly pea.
Yeah.
But then,
I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
We kept laughing about that.
In fact, the other name for glutamate is butterfly pea.
Ah.
I wanted to put the glutamate in that label, but my wife said no. Butterfly pea sounds better.
Yeah, I think butterfly pea sounds more like formal, you know.
Yeah.
Glutamate is the flower, right?
Yeah, glutamate is the flower. The other name for that is in fact butterfly pea. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like the name butterfly pea more.
Really?
Yeah.
So think about the conversation about nostalgia, about looking back, going back in time.
Yeah. Why do we look back in time? Why is it important?
Of course, because we would like to reminisce on our good times before, right? Yeah, that's what.
But then, like, what makes it bad also when you look back in time? Stuff like that.
2025, you are alive. What are you going to do about it?
Did you hear earlier, Jiggy accidentally said 2024? I forgot. Yeah, 25 na. I forgot about the new year.
Oh yeah. Can I do a short breathing exercise before we go on there? You can join me too, yes.
Yeah, sure.
This is called the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. Have you tried that?
No, not yet. Is that what you talk to Magic?
No, that's the Wim Hof breathing. But this is something you can do instantly while at work. Yes.
Yeah. Anywhere, sige na.
Yeah, okay. So it's 4-7-8. So that is breathe in for 4 seconds like this.
Through the nose, okay.
Through the nose like this. And then hold for 7 seconds. And then breathe out for 8 seconds. Through your mouth slowly. Yeah. That's it.
8 seconds is quite long, no?
Yes.
4, 7, 8?
Yes, 4-7-8. That's why it's called 4-7-8 because you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and then slowly breathe it out for 8 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try that out. Thanks.
Yeah, that's it. Let's try it right now. Yes. Okay. Okay, I'll give you the signal. Okay, when I do this, it's 4 seconds. Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I do this, it's hold. And then when I do this, slowly breathe out. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What about you? Does he want to join?
He's good. He's good.
too busy. Okay, no worries. Yes. Okay, let's go.
I like it because I feel like it actually pushes out the air, you know?
Yes, I know.
I think we're about to start.
Okay. No worries. Yes. One is even enough to
How many
distress,
cycles
right?
should you do?
As much as you can, yes.
Okay. But one is enough, yeah.
One is even enough, yes.
You're really inhaling and exhaling.
In fact, it helps you inhale the oxygen, and 7 seconds if I gives you time, it gives time for your body to do the exchange, right? And then the
8 seconds.
the slowly 8 seconds if you are in fact pushing out or breathing out the carbon dioxide. Yes.
That's actually enough time.
Carbon dioxide.
At first, I thought 8 seconds was too long to exhale, but if you hold it, it's not so bad. You have to practice that, I think. Oh, not at all. That's what I said.
One oh 5.1 TMC, requested by Dave. Humba.
By scrambled eggs.
So,
These bands really have the funniest names. I never get tired yet.
Niluto na nung sa humba.
Lagi? I know.
Lagot.
Actually, I prefer adobo right now because I find humba to be a bit too oily.
Oh, really? Yeah, I guess that's the main difference, right? Of humba and adobo.
Yeah, ang humba kay you have to let the sauce dry up para it's just oil na lang mabilin. And then humba is pork man, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Adobo kay
Well, you can also
have
humba-ize
humba-nize
chicken or whatever.
Yeah. Nah, but come on, Jiggy. Who has humba chicken? What the?
I know.
That's horrible.
I know.
I
So,
believe that's just called chicken adobo.
Yeah.
Just
chicken
plain
adobo, chicken pork adobo. Anyway, atong hisgutan karon buntaga sa mag-anisay ta Sugbo is nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? And kaning tao nga tapad ni Justin Narvis karon, he is part of my past because kani siya atong una sa gatrabaho pa ko sa Y101. Sige ni siya bisita dito sa Y101 Justin. Niya karon mura siya is like back from my past into my future, into my present. We have Janro. Maayong bungkag ni Bada Janro.
Maayong bungkag, Jiggy. It's really wonderful to start my 2025 here at Tops Media Center.
You know what? He came all the way from Ormoc, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Asa man kadapita sa Ormoc nagpuyo just kaning Janro.
Sa Barangay Luna, yes. Just next to the newly built Casamira Homes.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
So dito ka nagpuyo sa Ormoc. Unsa may kinabuhi imo dito sa Ormoc bay kumpara diri sa Sugbo kay sa Banawa Talamban ka nagpuyo niya tong una, right?
Yeah.
How's your life in Ormoc and how compared to how it was in Cebu? We're getting nostalgic now.
Yeah.
Compare, yes. Okay, so the life there in Ormoc is in fact it says it's a city, but it feels like a province also. Yes.
Okay. Compared to Cebu.
Compared to Cebu, yes.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
right.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's in fact also a good thing because as you know, nature has its own healing factors.
Of course, yes, absolutely, yeah, correct. You're
So
correct.
it's always good. It's always really wonderful to be back in nature and just try to reconnect and heal your mind also. Yes.
So it's good in that way. So
Yes.
compared to your life here in Cebu, nga medyo urban na kayo, city life na kayo.
City life rasad kayo, yes, but I'm also it is also like trying to be also independent.
Okay.
Also, yes, because kay diri sa Cebu, yes, I'm staying with my parents.
Okay.
Of course, yes, everything is provided, right?
Okay.
But sa
Ormoc?
Sa Ormoc, yes, we have to practice living on our own, right?
Okay.
We have to pay the bills, yes, and everything. So
Okay.
that is also a really wonderful experience for me. Yes.
Your independence.
Independence,
Right,
yes.
and you're also closer to nature.
Closer to nature.
Right.
Also, yes.
So yeah. So how do you feel? How does imuhang kagahapon? How does your past and your experiences here in Cebu inform you and the way you live in Ormoc? Does it help you? And yes, unsa mang maagi nga nakatabang nimo ang imong experience dito sa Cebu nga ma-apply nimo sa Ormoc?
Of course, it's in fact how do you say this in Bisaya? Yes, or what? Yeah, okay.
Kani si Janro Justin. Kuan ni siya taga Netherlands ka sa?
Yes, I am Dutch. Yes,
He's Dutch,
half
right?
Dutch, half Filipino.
Half Dutch, half Filipino. So kani ang iyang binisaya apiki, iyang in English apiki sad kay kaning Danish man ni siya.
I can speak 4 languages. By the way,
you can
yes.
yeah.
That's why sometimes it gets mixed up. You know, the languages are like fighting in my
head.
brain. Like
Exactly.
Yes, that's why.
So he speaks Danish,
Dutch.
Dutch, Tagalog,
Tagalog,
English,
and
Cebuano. Di ba you speak Pekingese?
Pekingese?
You don't speak Pekingese?
No, I'm not speaking Pekingese, but I am also practicing Turkish also.
Wow.
Okay,
Turkish for my Turkish students, as I am in fact an online English
I'll
tutor.
teach you a word in Pekingese. Hold on.
Yes, please.
Hold on. Okay, this is hello. Hold on. That's hello. Can you
For Pekingese.
say it? Oh, that's hello in Pekingese.
That's for you to say hello there.
Yeah. So anyway,
I speak Chihuahua because I have a Chihuahua.
Really now? Okay.
And then Jiggy speaks. What's your
Pug.
He speaks Pug.
Pug
You have
sure.
pets?
Pug
Ano?
sure.
Yes, I speak half Korji.
Corgi.
Okay.
Not Pekingese,
Yeah.
Jiggy.
In fact,
This is Corgi.
In fact,
Corgi rather.
Janro is very involved in the animal rescue scene, right?
Oh,
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a pet lover. Anyway, so what are we talking about? We were talking about how unsa ang imuhang nakatunan sa Cebu ni adto nga na-apply nimo sa Ormoc.
That's a really big laundry list, Tama.
Okay, just give me one. Just give us one, yeah.
Okay. So it is in fact be flexible and highly adaptable in new environments.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
So ang imong experience sa Cebu nga daghang kay mga experiences, you are able to adapt easily and readily in Ormoc, right?
That's correct.
So at least karon imong pagpuyo sa Ormoc, dili na kayo lisod mo ipasabot nimo?
In a way, yes.
In a way, yes.
In a way.
How about you guys? Tell us about how you feel about nostalgia.
Yeah, your past. Let
Yeah.
us know. How does it affect you? What are the positive things about looking back into the past?
Mhm.
You know, earlier in the break we had a conversation.
Yeah,
with,
yeah. We completely forgot about that. What were we talking about again?
During the break.
Yeah.
Well, General was teaching me a breathing technique, and
A breathing technique.
Yes, and I think it's really helpful when we're stressed out with the now. I don't know about Jiggy and Janro, pero sometimes like nowadays, labi na nahuman ang holiday season.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of stressful to go back to the normal pace of
Yeah.
like everything, and like there are no breaks anymore, right?
Okay.
So then it's important for us to also remember to look back on like the techniques that helped us before. Is that something you've done for like so long? Breathing techniques, is that like
Actually, I've just learned that when I first came to Ormoc. Yes, my wife in fact introduced me to the Wim Hof breathing at 1st.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, but then I introduced that to RBE. You know
Okay.
RBE.
Yes, of course.
RBE, and then they've how to say this? Oh yeah, they've actually gotten quite a great experience with the Wim Hof. That's
Okay.
why they've been doing that every week. Also, yes.
Okay, so it's nice. Your wife taught you the Wim Hof.
Wim Hof.
Wim
Hof.
He's a
breathing
fellow
techniques.
Dutchman.
Yeah.
Okay, so your wife is into like meditation, yoga, perhaps? Is that it?
Yeah, she's in fact yoga also. Yes.
Oh, so she does yoga.
So that's why.
So that's why you
That's
also do those kinds of activities.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about here sa atong mga Nisayta Sugbo, we're talking about living in the past. Why do we want to live there? Why do we want to constantly revisit the past?
Yeah.
Nostalgia, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Unsa ka direct translation sa nostalgia sa?
That's one of the things again nga walay Bisaya word.
Nostalgia.
No?
Nostalgia.
Nostalgia. Mm. What about in Dutch? Would you happen to know like
What's a word for
the
nostalgia
word for that?
in Dutch?
I
Maybe
honestly
not?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
don't know.
maybe it's just that English word that
Yeah.
everyone uses, and
Yeah.
then
Mm.
So maybe what does handumanan de Jiggy? Di ba in Bisaya?
Memory?
Memories. So
I
that's
think.
not the same,
Memories,
not the same
handumanan.
as nostalgia.
Oh. Maybe that's the closest we have.
Yeah, handumanan.
Handumanan.
Diba?
Naghandom sa kagahapon. Kay kagahapon, I think, is the past, right? So, memories of the past, I think.
Okay, so those are the closest things we get to nostalgia na lang.
Na ay mga Bisaya diya nga mga experts tabangi bibi unsa may direct
Yeah, guys.
direct equivalent sa word nostalgia. Unsa may pasabot ng nostalgia in Binisaya? Unsa word and let us know, please. Help us.
Yeah, text us 0999-887-6070 or join us sa chats here at Tops Media Center on YouTube. Daghan namin nag-appeal here. There was J.R. Doding Espinoza, Herbert, let's see, Zarek Leona, and Janro, who's with us now sa studio.
Si Kana Patis na siya
Oh,
request
Kana
nga sa una ug karon bunso kuno nga request ganahan siya motokarta na sa atong listener over.
Yes.
Let's see what we can do with that request. Atong hisgutan karong buntaga is nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? And join us in our conversation 0999-887-6070. You can also go to YouTube at Tops Media Center and atong naminaw nato sa atong mga atong programa sa 105.1 TMC. This is formerly Halo Halo Radio now. It's called 105.1 TMC, the best of us. You're listening to Top of the Morning. Mo'y pangalan sa atong programa, Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice.
My name is Justine Narvios.
And I'm Janro.
Janro. Oh,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah. I love the energy.
That's the energy we need to have every morning. to
What's
be
that
honest.
again?
That's the kind of energy we need to have in the morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Come on, Jiggy, with a little more energy like this. Yeah.
Okay, there, perfect. That's perfect.
We're talking about nostalgia, living in the past, and why it is useful, why it's not useful. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is there such thing as too much nostalgia? Is there like a Goldilocks zone? Sakto ra gyud imo ang paghandom sa kagahapon nimo nga dili makaepekto sa imong mga karon. Unsa may gamit anang atong kagahapon, right? How do we take advantage of it? Kanang ato. By the way, I was thinking about what you said earlier, Justin, about kaning naay mga butang nga nabuhat nimo nga dili maayo niadtong una. Posible sad nga kanang butanga dili nangilad karon. Naapoy mga butang nga kanang mausab na ba? Nga dili na siya ingon ana karon. You know what I mean?
Okay, what do you mean? So there are things na past nga akong gibuhat nga it was not so good.
Yeah, for example.
Nya karon it's okay na.
It's okay na, for example. Kanang
let me think of one.
but see, the thing is depende pud unsa imong edad. Kay for example, kanang mubo kayo nga skirt, for example, kanang shorts nga grabe kayo ka huot or kapakigol,
okay, like
diba?
fashion.
For
Okay.
example.
That's a great example.
Atong una kaning sa ako ang panahon, maybe like in the 90s, in the 2000s siguro, maybe even in the 80s, murag wala kay na nauso. So ngilad na ang kanang magpakigol atong una, di ba? Pero karon
with the fashion now,
people are just normally just wearing it, right?
Yeah, I feel like people are more empowered now to experiment on clothes.
So mo na siyang example of butang nga ngilad ni adtong una, karon okay na.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so that's an example of that, right?
Okay.
So naay mga butang nga sayop atong una nga dili na ngilad karon, because the way we perceive things and the way the things have evolved and changed, right?
Yeah,
Right?
And I would say one thing I thought about aside from fashion was how like people would express themselves before. I feel like, you know, with the kanang for those who are in the LGBT community, for example, it would be such a big taboo for you to like, you know, openly express that you have a different sexual orientation. Pero karon medyo mas na-accepted na.
Yeah.
The same way in aesthetic, you know, aside from your fashion, kanang mga tattoos and piercing, there was a time before when people who are applying for mga corporate jobs cannot show their tattoos, no?
Yeah, correct.
Pero times have changed. Now, you don't have to cover them up as much.
As
you know?
much, yeah.
Even sa academe, there was a time when teachers really had to cover their mga tattoos. And now, that's not necessarily a requirement now for work. It's discrimination now, something like
I even
that.
I even see doctors with tattoos now, diba?
Yeah.
Diba?
Pero there was a time before nga medyo taboo, diba?
Yeah.
Nga murag, in the past, if we look back, if we what's the word, have like a certain nostalgia about how it was in the past, kaya it was not acceptable.
Yeah.
Pero now, okay naman.
Yeah.
Acceptable
Yeah.
na siya. Medyo
Yeah.
acceptable.
In some quarters. Yes, you were about to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yes, I would also like to add that my dad, you know, he has an earring. He has an earring in a right ear. Yes.
Okay.
So when he first got that, when he was still a teenager, he got yelled at by my grandparents really badly. Like, how can you?
Why did you do that?
Why did you do that? You're destroying your future.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Yeah.
So now.
But now
he's doing good.
Okay.
So times are in fact changing.
Yeah.
Right?
Times
I
are
agree.
changing.
There
right?
are some students also before, like the youth now. I think in the past, if you got that much kanang tattoos or piercings, kay it would give people the wrong impression about like, oh, you're probably an out of school youth.
No,
or
you're
troublemaker.
you're probably a criminal.
Yeah, true.
Mo na siya pinakagrabe nga kaning what's the word for that?
Kanang
The word is a discrimination. Kanang stereotype ba?
Okay,
That's the stereotype. In
Pero
fact,
karon-
in fact, kung ganahan ka nga,
Ito, no?
you'll be looked at as bad, as macho, as having street credentials, meaning to say that you actually lived in the streets. Magpatato ka. Mo man na siya. That's the rationale behind that.
Behind it,
Nga, for example, kanang mga millionaires in the NBA, for example. Let's talk about the basketball players, right? Nga dato mo kayo sa tanan, right? So magtanaw nila, si Allen Iverson kaning dato naman na dili man na siya. He's not among us. But if you want to get street credentials, if you want to say
See more.
yeah, because I'm just like you know. I'm bad. I'm a criminal. You know, without being an
explicitly saying that. Yeah,
without being an actual criminal.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm bad. So magpatato ka. So that's what it is. And anam sa nang uso. I think this conversation will also have to touch about fad and uso ba.
Yeah.
Kanang uso man good. Diba? I talked about this before. Kanang uso is the opposite of. If you want to be able to predict what's uso next, you predict what's the opposite of the thing, right? Yeah, kanang mga butang. Let's just say tattoos, for example, right? Uso na siya kay kaning wa may gabuhat na. So cool ka. Di ba? Pero karon nga daghan sa kayong tattoo, rebellious na siguro kayong white tattoo na sad.
It becomes an uso also.
Oh, di ba? Uso na sa ng white tattoo, di ba? Unsaon lang na sa mga tao nga nay tattoo, Nga di wala na uso murag kinaraan na yung style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Trends change over time.
Yeah, for example, kanang mubo kayo nga pakigol kayo nga sanina, for example, ang muuso siguro sunod kang grabe na kay kataas, di ba?
Yeah, that's true.
So kanang kasunis, di ba?
Yeah.
I told you about the
How
skinny
pants used to be
skinny jeans, right?
Yes.
And then now uso na ang
Ang bukad, di ba?
baggy jeans.
So in a way, I'm still living in the past.
Because you like skinny.
Naamagyan mo ko yung skinny jeans. Wala na ko gilabay sa ako ang dress, akong closet.
I think that's why people like to look back and have nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because there are some trends na yung mga uso din nga mas in line with their preference.
Yeah,
Bitaw.
yeah.
Like, I also remember there was a time nga, like a couple years back, maybe 10 years ago, nga
Okay.
skinny jeans were a thing. I always hated skinny jeans, Jiggy. Kay, sa mukan ko, they're itchy, they're huot, they're
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
correct, yeah.
And so, I remember I was like there was a time that I wore like kana bitong bell bottom. It's called flare jeans now.
Okay.
And I remember my classmates were really like, "Oh my god, that looks so vintage. Like you look like you're wearing something from like the 80s or the 90s." something like
Correct.
that.
Oh.
And I was really like, yeah, at that time it was old. Pero karon, look, bali noon. If you're wearing skinny jeans now, you're the one who's like retro. You're the one who's
Yeah.
like old school.
Correct,
Because
correct.
everyone wears loose jeans na now.
Correct.
That's true. And that even brings me back to my high school and college years.
What
okay?
what about it? What about it?
Just a uniform, but your hair has to be, the policy of the school. Yes, kanang dapat proper haircut.
Okay.
Huwag dapat sa college walay bungot. Yes.
That was the rule before.
That was the rule before,
Yeah.
yes.
No bungot.
No bungot, no kanang
Clean haircut.
clean haircut, yes.
Yeah, I think until now the schools still have those policies for students now. But were you like Jiggy also that you would wear skinny jeans before? Were you a skinny jeans fan?
Dili pa na skinny jeans sa tawag na baston.
Is it really what's called?
I really like the cargo jeans. Yes.
cargo,
jeans.
cargo.
Kanang kay masud gani no?
Nga pockets. Yeah, you're like my brother. You're like that too.
I know.
Ang according to Dave kuno kana nostalgia means handuraw sa kagahapon.
Again, sorry, what?
Handuraw sa
Handuraw.
kagahapon.
Okay.
Anong nostalgia?
Thank you so much, Dave. Finally, we got... Guys, this is why we really need your help because there's
Yeah.
some words nga, bisag kung saan na mo ni Jiggy, we can't find the...
English equivalent.
No, the Bisaya.
Yeah, Bisaya equivalent, yeah.
So then we'd always have to ask our viewers to comment them and let us know.
Yeah.
One moment, I'll get my phone for a while.
Go ahead. Please remove your headphones first so that you okay. Janro is here and of course we're doing top of the morning. Atong gisugutan karong buntaga is nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? So kanang nostalgia that just that doesn't apply to just music, right? It applies to everything. Right?
Trends, fashion.
Fashion.
Mora nauso na sad
Even
karon.
language, right? Language,
Kana,
yeah.
Nauso na karon ang Y2K fashion. Have you heard of that, Jiggy?
Y2K fashion.
Y2K fashion. That's a big thing.
Really now?
Yeah, it's like when you dress up from the 2000s.
Okay.
That's also na now.
So
In fact,
unsa may tsura sa people back in the 2000s? I can't remember.
oh my goodness. Okay, like karon this is the uso nga shades karon like
Okay.
ingani nga style.
Okay,
Pero sa una
kinaraan
they were
man na,
more
di ba?
chunky. They
Okay.
kanang brown nga shades nga mo fade. For
Yeah,
example,
yeah.
it's darker on the top and
Yeah.
then light in the bottom.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say wearing leggings under skirts. That's also a Y2K trend.
Okay.
Mga track suits.
What's
like,
a tracksuit?
Like kanang matching bitaw.
Overall?
No, matching a jacket o jogging pants.
Okay.
Kanang like sa Adidas, for example,
Yeah,
the
okay.
tracksuits are
Okay.
Y2K fashion.
Okay.
Flip phones,
Ah.
cassette,
Yeah.
mga recorders.
Na rules atong una nga doesn't apply anymore. For example, kanang tracksuit before, ang rules is you can never wear the same brand. Like you can never wear, let's say, jogging pants nga Adidas, niya imong
really?
jacket kay Adidas, but it has to be like different. Right now,
Okay.
now I guess it's the complete opposite now. Before you couldn't wear jean on jeans, right? You couldn't wear a jean jacket or a jean shirt and a jean pants, right? There was
Wasn't an uso.
There was a no in fashion because iba na ka maghimo ra man tag ibinto ra man tag mga rules, right? Because that's what we are. We want to invent stuff. We want to create stuff. So karon dili na that doesn't apply anymore. Kanang jeans nga shirt o jeans nga pants, pwede na siya. Nausab na ang rules of fashion
Yeah.
and that goes for everything. Mag-usab-usab gyud ang atong mga kinaiya. But you know what, Justin? I was just thinking about it. Katong ang example nako kada batong parang kanang skimpy outfits. If you go back far enough, nauso mo sa good back in the 60s. Baka batong the mini skirt, the bikinis. Maybe not here in the Philippines.
In the Western world,
In the
yeah.
Western world, na uso na itong una.
Even sa flappers era kanang bitong kanang 20s kanang mga Gatsby era.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of long gowns were a thing. Everyone always wore short dresses sa
Exactly.
mga events, sa mga parties kay di man ka makalihok, di man ka makasayaw.
Correct. So if you look at big history enough, right? Big history na gid ba? Like dako na gyud kay imong times of the eons of time that have passed imong tan-awon. Magbalik-balik ra gyud na siya
I'm
actually.
actually really glad you brought up fashion because aside from music, that's really one thing that you can tell the era ba.
Yeah.
You can mark history, you can mark time through fashion.
Yeah.
And I love watching bitaw content like that, Jiki, like naay mga stylists who would be like dress up from this era, dress up
Yeah.
from that time.
Yeah.
And in fact, my little sister sa ilang Christmas party, ang
Your
ilang
little
theme-
sister Jaden,
My little sister Jaden.
the more logical and more cooler
The cooler
sister.
Yeah, during her Christmas party sa school, kabaw ka sa ilang theme.
Unsa man?
Kaya di pa you have to dress up as a theme.
Yeah.
Their theme was 90s.
Whoa.
So they all had to dress up like they were 90s. She wore a jersey, like a hockey jersey. It was
Okay.
really nice. And the music that they played were all 90s music. And decorations nila were all 90s. And it was, my mom had fun like looking at their pictures. Kaya that was my mom's time, man. So to see like my sister dress up like my mom and like how their friends used to dress up was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, fashion is one thing, music is one thing. What else do we look back on the past?
So that's how we can we make that into an adjective or a verb? That's how we look back. Sometimes we look back and wear the clothes of the past, right?
Nah.
That's how we feel like we are a person of the past. We've transported ourselves into the past by wearing the clothes of the past, right? Right?
Yeah, and then another way is to listen to the music of the past.
Yeah.
What else? In what other ways do we practice nostalgia?
Nostalgia,
Yeah.
right?
Aside from wearing clothes from the past,
No, like for example,
listening to music from the past.
you went to this restaurant 20 years ago and you had like a certain
Dish?
age wine and then a certain dish, so you ordered it again. You know,
Okay.
you can reenact the past too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like eat the things that you used to eat
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some childhood snacks that that's a form of nostalgia. That's
Yeah.
a way to practice that.
Exactly, yeah.
Kaon ka sa
Yeah.
snacks nga you used
Yeah.
to have. Okay, I'd like to ask you in general, like, what are your favorite childhood snacks kay?
Ako yung mahinumduman gyud is chippy.
Okay.
Chippy gyud na kinumdum
So unhealthy though, no?
I know. Porting parang I remember gyud.
Salty.
It's so nostalgic. I mean, it's so
Nostalgic.
nostalgic, yes.
Back in prep school, prep, siguro nursery, baka itong kinumdum. This is like a weird memory that I have. Akong buhaton, akong baon sa atong una is kaning sandwich bread bitaw.
Okay.
Sandwich bread, kanang itlog, kanang, and then sandwich, diba? Akong buhaton, palit og chippy, ibutang nako sa
Oh, that sounds good. I actually
so
want to try that.
crunchy kaya ang ako ang akong sandwich.
I actually would try that.
Yeah, so lami kayo magkakumkum. So that's one of my nostalgic foods,
Snacks.
kanang snacks, kanang chippy. How about you, Janro?
The best nostalgia that I can
In terms of food.
in
kanang-
terms of food, yes,
Okay.
of course, yes,
Uh-huh.
is in fact Julie's Bake Shop.
Wow.
Oh.
Nga Julie, unsa man nga naman. Napa may Julie's karon, di ba?
But what do you get from there?
Unsa
Unsa
may
may
karon?
Julie's Bake Shop
Oh, pero
karon?
atong una,
Yes, katong bata pa ko.
Okay,
yes,
bata pa man kagihapon
bata-
karon.
Yes, bata. We're all bata bitaw,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
But when I was like a toddler,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so katong sauna gani ang kanang sliced bread nila.
Mhm.
So sometimes with one sliced bread there's a raisin one, di ba?
Ah,
yes,
yeah, I
there was a
remember.
raisin.
Ah, I
Yes.
remember that, yeah.
There's a raisin inside, yes.
Okay, I remember
and
that.
And my parents and my grandfather always used to say, you and your sister always fight for that raisin
Oh,
bread.
okay, okay.
For the only one slice.
Oh.
For that one slice, di ba?
Okay, but wala na may raisin bread unsa?
Wala
Wala na kayo, di ba? Sa Julie's kay murag mahal mo siguro ng raisin. How about you, Justin?
That's nice.
Unsa
I
imong
didn't know that.
favorite nostalgic
Me,
snack?
one of my favorite nostalgia snacks now when I was a kid, my grandpa used to always give us bar nuts or honey.
Oh, I
Na
love that. I
chocolate.
love that.
Peanut
I love-
flavored
I love-
chocolate.
I
Bar
love
nuts
that.
or honey.
Mm.
So until now, whenever me and my sister see it, we're like, oh, that's what our grandpa used to always give us. There were so many snacks I used to eat as a kid. Kana popsicle also nga. It's like in a plastic nga tube nga imong kitkiton.
What do you call it?
It's popsicle siya. Nga, it's like in a
Popsicle.
plastic nga tube.
Okay, is that still available now?
It is, but one thing that I don't think is available now that my grandpa used to have is,
Okay.
do you know the Selecta nga twin popsies.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Diba there was an orange flavor?
Orange, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's 2 sticks, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
my grandpa used to like...
Share ka mo share.
Mo share me. But we'll end up getting another one with gihapon. So it's almost like you're eating one each.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but he always used to cut in the middle with a knife, the orange one.
Yeah.
Wala na ron ng orange.
Really? Okay.
No, both of them aren't.
Okay. All
Wala
right.
na sila.
That's sad.
Bring it
Okay.
back. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Does anybody remember the Mick?
Yeah, Mick.
Mikmik. What's a mikmik?
The powder.
The powder milk where you...
No, I don't remember that.
You put a straw into it.
Okay.
And then
You don't remember,
yeah.
All right, I don't remember that.
I don't like that. Kaya I feel like magtuok ka sa powder.
Okay. How about you guys? What are the nostalgic food items that you'd like to talk about? Text 0999-887-6070 or you can join us on our chat group at Tops Media Center on YouTube at Tops Media Center. Daghang salamat.
I'm sure daghan kay tao sa atong comments who can tell us what are your nostalgic snacks.
Snacks.
That's
nga.
part of it, man said.
Yeah.
Part of nostalgia is
Part of
remembering what you
nostalgia,
used to
yeah.
eat before.
Yeah. Okay, something happens good like it's like deja vu sometimes, right?
It's nice, yeah.
You're really transported if the stimuli is correct, like the taste, what you hear, you know, the smell even.
Yeah.
Kana mga nostalgic smells that
Yeah.
that also triggers a lot of people, right? Nga murag this smell sounds so familiar, right?
Yeah.
For example, a loved one, for example, nga murag smells exactly like that, and you smell somebody in the room that smells like that, and you're just transported back in time,
Yeah.
right?
I just remembered something that one time me and my parents and my siblings we were in Colon and then my mom and dad wanted us to try something, a snack daw nila when they were younger.
Okay.
Can you help me remember the name? Aslum siya nga orange and
Okay.
it's like really
Kemoy?
Yes.
Kemoy.
Kamoy. There's another one pa.
Kemoy. But I forgot the other one.
Basta there's another one, a brown.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Kemoy and champoy.
Champoy. There we go.
Kemoy and champoy.
Yes, kamoy and champoy.
Oh.
I didn't like it.
So maguba akong naong anak.
I hated it.
Para maguba akong
Are you
naong anak.
supposed to swallow it
Da-
after or iluwa nimo ang murag seed? Lahi man siya.
Iluwa no.
Okay.
Have you been swallowing it?
I didn't even know. I spat it out. But then I thought that ang kiamoy o
Samuka.
champoy kay imura i-swallow.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing.
Kemoy ug champoy.
Yeah.
Wala ko nakadung na da.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a Chinese store that still sells those. My parents went to a Chinese
It's still there, right? It's still
Nasa
there.
Colon or something like
Yeah,
that. In fact, when I went to Malaysia pag August, there was this special store nga all 90s stuff daw.
Okay.
All 90s nga or 80s to 90s nga snacks and then mga white rabbit and stuff like that. Pero naman gyapon white rabbit ron.
Napit na nagyapon no.
Yeah, my grandma likes
Yeah.
those white rabbit.
Labi na katumakaw ng panit, katong puti.
Wala na ko kaabot ana.
Yeah, those were in fact the rare
Rare no.
Yes, even during my elementary, when my classmates brings when my classmate brings that kind of candy,
Candy?
yes,
Okay.
people will be like, "Oh my God, that's awesome!" Right?
Yeah, you're cool if you have that.
You're cool if you have that.
Pero now,
In case you're wondering what we're talking about nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? According to my dear friend Dave, ang kana kanong ang tawag ani
found that.
nostalgia ang binisaya ko no anak ko no asa naman to siya. Nawagtang na hinon. According to Dave, ang kana kanong nostalgia in Binisaya is Handuraw. Sa kagahapon.
Thank you, Dave. This is why we need their help, yun.
Yes.
And according, General has something he wants to say here.
In terms of food, kuno akong paborito sa elementary kay pan di okay.
Pandi okay?
While palaman og chicharon nga yellow na balon or 125 pesos unya naay pan kay libre sa school og bahog-bahog pud na bug at og busog.
Wow, your school gives you free bread?
Wow, nice.
Man,
Yeah.
well, that's nice.
Where did you go to school?
Where is that? Mga free bread.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you're about to say something kaning sa tawagan ni General. Go ahead.
Oh yes, I found the Dutch word for nostalgia.
What
by
is
the way.
what is the Dutch word for nostalgia? Go ahead, give it to us.
Okay, so the Dutch word is nostalgie.
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 La-
Nostalgie.
Nostalgie. So dili layo sa in English, di ba?
Yes, because I believe that there was no Dutch word for that, so that's why they Dutchified that word.
Dutchified.
That's the closest we have.
I like the Dutchify.
Dutchified. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sa muna siyang mga butang sa nga, walay equivalent sa ang word
Wala, we have-
related lang sa original word, di ba?
That you just have to like adapt it na lang with an
Yeah.
accent or something like that. Herbert Abellana says, sa una na ay libreng gatas nga Klim ang brand, Nutribon, Bulgur ipanghatag kada adlaw sa public schools. Wow! They get free snacks.
I remember that brand, Klim.
What is that?
Gibali lang nila ang milk ba? Klim ang brand.
That's so smart.
I know, right?
Klim.
Klim ang brand
That's
sa
na
milk.
siya ka ng...
Milk siya. Like Bear brand, like
itimpla pa ni mo
yeah,
sa
like
man.
powdered milk, yeah.
Klim. Wala na lagi na, ano? I don't know that
Wala
brand.
na.
Yeah.
Nasakpan man sila ang Klim. Binali ra sa
Bali na
milk.
sa milk. That's smart. That's smart. When I was younger
It didn't
also,
mean anything. Like,
Yeah,
bali ra sa milk.
just milk.
Yeah.
Wala, Bear Brand na ako naabtan, Jiggy. Bear
Okay.
Brand na Ovaltine, like
Okay,
that.
okay.
When I was young, there's this, aside from when we're talking about nostalgia ba,
Ah.
it's not really food, but something I used to do.
Okay.
Kana bitong, have you tried plastic balloon?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Kanang,
Yeah.
It's like a, what is it? What is that thing?
Like some
Gel.
toxic plastic material.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah.
You wrap it around this straw.
This tube,
and then
yeah.
you wet it with your saliva and, then
And-
you blow on the straw and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it becomes like a giant balloon.
Yeah.
Which I remember before ba. It's so gross because you have a friend
Uh-huh.
nag-grow siya balloon. Kung mo deflate na yung balloon, they would ask your help to like, oh, please help me inflate it again. So
Okay.
did you guys do that? Or
Yeah,
was it just me and my
yeah.
friends?
Taklaan.
Yeah,
Di ba,
I just remember that one right now.
Taklaan man mo, di ba?
Like,
Taklaan
for
mo
example,
ang
I'm
balloon.
blowing a balloon now
Okay,
and then
okay.
it's nag-diffuse na, it's about to deflate. Then
Okay,
ko
okay.
then musig na ako ni Jiggy. So if we were kids before, Jiggy would takla it and I realized now that is so gross.
Unhygienic, right?
Like COVID, oh my goodness.
But we did. There was no COVID
At
back
that
then.
time. But
yeah.
now I realized baluod na din.
We were sharing salivas, and you're still here, Justine. So it wasn't that bad, right? It was you turned out fine, right?
Do you think there's something toxic in that? Like even if you don't share it, but
No,
you
I think
the plastic itself.
the
is bad?
reason why it's no longer there because I think it's toxic because plastic man na siya, right? You were about to say something.
Yeah. Have you tried that?
Yes, I've tried the plastic balloon.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And of course, I'm in fact a anti-plastic advocate.
Oh. So man ang ibahan na siya kay anti-plastic de ka unsa man? Unsa mong pag-unsa? Nganong ibahan man na siya because it's plastic but I don't
I believe there were some harmful or carcinogenic chemicals.
Yeah,
in that
I believe
yes.
so too. I believe
That's
so
why,
too.
yes.
So it doesn't. So even if I leave that, katong mga nasalin nga plastic balloon, if I leave it in a cup of water, it won't dissolve.
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Then I shouldn't practice that now.
So naagyo yung mga butang nga ngilad atong una or nindot atong unang ngilad na karon.
Nindot
Right?
sa una,
Oh.
nang gilad karon.
And bali sad and the opposite is also true. Bati katong atong una nindot karon for example
Tattoos.
I'll give you another example. Kanang for example kanang fat, right? And carbohydrates for example. Kanang mga
Okay.
atong diet. Let's talk about the diet.
Okay.
Back in the day ang ato ang food pyramid man to ang gitudlo na to, di ba?
Yeah.
Nakainomdom ka to?
Yeah.
Nga tudlan tag food pyramid ang pinaka
Grow, glow.
ang
Muna.
pinakadaghan sa ubos kay carbohydrates. Kinumdum mo ana.
Yes, I
That's out of the window now, right? Gilabay wala na dili na nana. Because in fact, carbohydrates if you have too much of it is also a bad thing, right? You know what I mean? Kana pong sugar versus fat, right? For a long time mura na siya gi-vilify, gina siya demonize na ang fat. Grabe kuno kay nakangilad, but as it turns out, sugar is actually worse than fat now. You know what I mean? So dahil mga butang ngilad kayo ni atong una nga dili na kayo ngilad karon kaya naa day mas ngilad pa di ay. Kay mo na siyang example of science.
Yeah.
Science kaning overturning the facts of the day ba.
Yeah.
Igaugma dili na day mao di ay lahi na po di ay daghan daghan kay mga treatments nga this and
agree.
that nga atong una mo ni tutuan ni whatever mga tinuan sa buktot
Yeah.
atong una di ba?
And I think there's also a time, even with when you're talking about nutrition and food, there's
Yeah.
a time in the 50s, 60s nga uso ang mga canned goods.
Yeah,
Everyone was like, okay, pre-cooked dinner, pre-prepared everything.
Yeah.
Like that was the time wherein like they would encourage busy families nga, just pop up, open up a can and then heat it
Yeah,
up.
correct.
Pero nakadugay, we discovered nga grabe ka unhealthy.
So naghisgot ra gid mi ani gani gahapon sa hapon naghisgot mi Coke ba ningon ang akong kastorya nga
No.
ningon siya nga napagiday mo inom og Coke sa niya na siya
I do.
because I ordered Coke Zero, right? Ingon siya so we talked about Coke. Kibaw ba ka nga ang original intention ng Coke was medicinal?
Yes.
Number 2, kanang Coke ang ilang campaign atong una is Coke adds life. Coke adds life, right? Mo na ang ads atong una. So pasabutan na nga ang Coca-Cola mo inom kuno ka madugangan ko ni imong kinabuhi. And ironic sanan, but I don't think that's true anymore, right?
Yeah.
Right. And also, by the way, Jiggy, did you know that Coke before contained cocaine?
Actual cocaine in the Coke?
Yes, there was.
Wow.
Like minimal amounts, no?
Of course,
I'm not sure,
yeah.
but,
Of course.
But that's where the name came from.
Okay.
Coca-Cola.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Oh.
Or I think
So-
it came from the same plant siguro.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But see, the point is, nga ngilad, nindot na ito, ano na, medicinal ko na good. Medicinal karon. Yeah, you know,
And then now-
that's one of the things that people are discouraged to drink sugary drinks, right? Sugary drinks and all
I
of
feel
that stuff.
guilty with that because
Yeah.
I do like carbonated
Yeah.
drinks. Sometimes when you eat something luod ba?
But I don't think it's the carbonation. I think it's the sugar. That's the deadly part. Because I now in 2025, sugar is now mortal enemy number one. It's no longer fat. Although fat is still a bad thing if you have too much of it. But there are certain levels of fat that are fine. I think kanang sugar yun nga kanang bitang processed sugar. Kanang bitang like the white cocaine like powdery sugar. I think that's the bad thing because most of the things that we eat are actually converted to a kind of sugar, right? Especially the carbs, right? So most of the carbohydrates is not to be taken too much also because it's converted into
Not a sugar.
Yeah, not a sugar.
That's
So
true,
you
that's
have
true.
to.
I'm very guilty of that, and I don't know if that's because in the past also when I was younger, gusto mo kumukha og sweets.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, that's another way of nostalgia looking
Yeah.
at what you used to eat in the past.
Yeah, I know.
Mga habits ninyo.
Kanang sugar, good. I think, especially because we're kids. Di ba, mga pagkabata pa nato, sige matagpakanon sa atong amahan o ginhanog asukar, di ba? Ice cream, lollipop,
Yes.
candies. So dili gyud ka. So kita we're wired to feel good about sugar. Not only because of its chemical composition, kay naman gyud addictive properties kanang asukar, di ba? Kay dopamine rush mo ra kang woo, di ba?
Energy,
Di ba? Pero part of that is also nostalgia. Nga when you lick a lollipop, it's like you're a child
When you were a
again.
kid,
You're
yeah.
a kid again, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I ate a lollipop na. Dugay na siguro.
When you're eating ice cream, you're taken back to Coney Island. I don't know if you were ever still there or you were already born, but there was a place called Coney Island before.
Here.
Doon na siya sa Redemptorist at bang na siya sa Foodland karon lain na pangalan ng tindahan na. Mura og bar na siya kanang sa tawag nga bar Cubana in Mango Avenue, Gorordo. There used to be a place called Coney Island. Every after church sa Redemptorist, maadto din mi sa Coney Island, mo palit na yung bubblegum flavor ice cream.
Wow, that's yummy.
Yeah, so nostalgia.
Yeah.
So
one of the oldest ice cream shops nga napagyapon karon.
Yeah,
Ansa na Ice Castle?
Dili na siya ice cream shop ko na siya
What is
kaning halo place. Pero they serve ice cream, but
Yeah, 'cause
that's
my parents used to date there daw before.
yeah. Akong inahan dili gid siya ganahan og lain nga brand. Kana ra yung White Castle kibak ngano?
White or ice?
White Ice Castle,
Ice
sorry.
Castle. Okay, got it.
Ice Castle kaning kibak ngano?
Why?
Because nostalgia. Yeah, because no matter how good things are now, if you're the kind of person that is living in the past or has a memory of the past that is so good about this particular flavor, this one will always be better than anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why mommy's humba is always better.
Yes.
Right? Right? Not
home
because
cooked
of
family.
the ingredients or the way it's cooked or because maybe it is, but most likely it is also about the nostalgia. Right?
That's true.
Mo nang lami gyud na siya. Mo na makaingon ka nga ato ka restaurant nga dili mi gini pareha sa
It's
tong
not the
una.
same, yeah.
Dili mi gini pareha sa tong una.
I feel that way with my mom's fruit salad because
Uh-huh.
the recipe that she uses is her mom's
Okay,
fruit salad.
okay.
So technically, this is my grandma's fruit salad recipe.
Okay.
I don't really like fruit salad kung wala cheese. But in
Okay.
what my grandma, my mom does, they put cheese.
Mhm.
So I like that. Sometimes the raisin food, which I like also, but cheese gid na ako. So
In case you're go ahead.
so now whenever we go to eat fruit salad from anyone else, it feels weird. Like
Exactly.
you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's like a travesty, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like an abomination. Why are you eating somebody else's fruit salad? What happened to mine?
fruit salad.
Mo ra sa nasang pasabot na ko ato nimo Justin nga when you're trying to go back in time, is the present moment not good enough? Imo apong feeling is my salad not good
yummy.
enough? Why are you
Yeah.
eating somebody else's salad?
Yeah, exactly.
Same is also with my mom's mango float.
Oh,
My mom's
mango float.
Oh.
Patilawan niyo man yung mango float og imuhang kaning
Fruit salad?
sa imong mga
Yeah.
mama. Ang ako ang mahinumduman sa akong mama kay maghimo na siya pulburon.
Wow.
Nga lami sa kay tanan nga kay bawk nga nung lami kay pulburon niya kay daghan kay butter. Kanang buttery kay ba sticky kay sus kalami makay sus makinumdum jud kay naman mi hulmahan na to una kanang
Do you form it to a shape?
Yeah, na murag egg lang gud nga shape gud
Ah,
so
okay.
mutabang ko na niya og hulma lami sa kito tanan and
Wow.
and you know like again people don't agree with me because you know they were not there when I was young and I ate the pulburon
Yeah, exactly.
and how the smell, the activity, the voice of my mom,
Exactly.
and all of that stuff are all in that small sweet, that small treat, right? Munang inigkaon mo, it's not just the flavor that you're tasting; it is the memories that,
Yeah.
the memories,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
That's
That's nice.
that's nostalgia, and whether we like it or not, Justine and Janro, we're very nostalgic.
Yeah.
You know, we're
100%
we're all because we have no comparison but the past, right? We're living in the past constantly, without even us noticing it, right? 'Cause, you know, like how do we know that the fire is hot because we touched it before and it burned my finger? So it you know like there are memories that we have that are useful
Yeah.
to the way we navigate
Yeah.
the world, right?
exactly. Speaking of nostalgia, I think from this conversation, I just remembered all the really yummy food that my lolo used to make.
Mhm.
And I think I want to start making them with my sister now because we kind of still remember the recipes. Kay lahi, you're right, gid. Lahi ramang gid when you taste that specific, if you get the recipe right
Yeah.
from the way they used to do it. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try to make, hopefully, I'll try to make like my grandpa's leche flan and
Yeah.
he makes embutido also.
Yeah, that's another way to live forever, right?
Kana, your recipes live
Your
forever.
recipe,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think, I was thinking
Yeah.
about it when you were talking about it. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? I think we're going to try making it at
You know,
home.
speaking of grandma and grandpapa, I have memories of my grandma and my grandpa too. They've since they passed on a long time ago.
Mhm.
But I remember, maybe this is like 20 years ago. Every day, okay, my dad had like 4, 5 brothers, right?
Mm.
Or actually 6 with us. He has a sister. Every day, mag-take turns na sila og magdaog pagkaon and having dinner with my grandparents.
Mm.
So every time among turno, I think it was a Tuesday. Among turno pag-adto sa balay sa 3 de Abril sa Calamba in the old ancestral house there is sinugbang baboy,
Ooh.
okay, and tinola nga isda. Mo gina siya ang combination. So hantod karon ha, even now, my mom and my dad and myself, that's still our favorite combination. Because
What is
of
it?
that.
Sinugbang baboy
liempo ba?
Yummy.
O kaning tinuwa nga isda. So mo na siya. So that's nostalgia working right there. So akong mom and dad, especially my dad, you know, it was their wedding anniversary, 53rd wedding anniversary yesterday.
Wow.
And we brought them
Happy
to
anniversary.
we brought them to a restaurant, right? Akong dad, my mom is like open-minded and all that stuff. But my dad,
whatever.
there is nothing. Even if you bought, I brought him to the finest
Buffet, for example,
restaurant,
oh.
the finest restaurant in the planet. There's nothing better for him than liempo nga sinugbang baboy og tinola
Yeah.
nga isda. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It's a nostalgia.
Just forget about it. You know, like you can take him to I don't know, Mott in Cebu or whatever fine restaurant here, like quick snack.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll be like nothing compared to sinugbang baboy o tinolang isda.
Yeah.
So because that's nostalgia working. And more na set na ilang utok ba nga mo gina pinakalami.
Yeah. So it's
Ano
the
siya?
memory attached to
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
not necessarily the food itself.
Okay.
It's the memories attached to the food.
Okay, some of us, we have a text here from 9872. Some of us yearns to go back to the past, even how good or bad it was. Maybe because of things we reminisce that'll never be the same again. The situation and our capabilities at that time it happened. We may think of what ifs and things that should have been done. Okay, so that's not healthy because you can't you can't be there and do it again, right?
Yeah, that's the problem with thinking about what ifs. Kanapita when you look back in your past,
Yeah.
and instead of learning from it, if you always think about how could I have done it differently, I feel like you'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
No, Like you keep thinking, what if I didn't do this? What if I didn't take this chance? What if I did this and that? So then instead of focusing on what you should do now,
Well, what you can do now.
you're always focusing on what you could have done before. Nga, wala man ka mabuhat.
Yeah.
Because it's
Exactly.
already done.
Yeah.
Diba? What do you think?
Yeah, that in fact reminds me of a movie line, by the way, which
Oh,
also
yeah.
has
Okay,
which
okay.
also has impacted me. It is in fact.
Okay. What movie
Yeah.
is this?
One moment. It's in fact yesterday is history.
Yesterday is
Tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Is that Kung Fu Panda?
Yes, Kung Fu Panda.
I love that.
Kung
The
Fu
turtle, right?
Panda.
Oh, turtle.
Kung Fu Panda. Kung
Wait, yes.
Kung Fu
Let's
Panda.
dissect that. That was a
Sige,
really nice quote.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yesterday
Can you repeat that one more
Yesterday-
time? Hold,
okay.
give me a second. Okay.
Alright.
We'll
In,
prepare the
in
music.
3, 2, 1, let her rip.
Yesterday is history.
Okay.
Yes. Tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present.
I love that. Yesterday is history.
Yeah.
Today is
Done.
Tomorrow's a mystery, so we don't know what's
Okay,
gonna happen
okay,
tomorrow.
okay.
But today's the gift. The greatest
So
gift.
so when you're living in the past, this is my interpretation of that. If you're always looking back or looking forward, you will miss the gift of the present moment. I think that's what he's trying to say, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So as you see, even in animated movies, there are also some wonderful,
Absolutely, man.
wonderful
Absolutely.
teachings.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's right.
So yeah, so if you're living in the past or you're always looking back or you're always looking forward, you're missing out on the present moment, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most beautiful gifts that we have, right?
Mm,
The
the now.
present,
Now.
the present
The
moment.
now is the gift.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
yes.
I take that gift for granted most of the time because
Yeah.
sometimes when we're busy or we're stressed about things, we think about now as just like, oh, I just have to do what I need to do. You know, like, okay, I need to
Yeah.
get through this. I have an
I
agenda.
need to prepare for my future.
Prepare. Oh, okay.
I have to go to law school. Right.
I have to
Yeah.
study. I have to do
Yeah,
all this.
yeah, yeah.
So you forget na no, the fact that you're able to have choices
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
The fact that we're talking in this
Yeah,
room right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the fact that we're
2,000
together,
feet closer to heaven.
Right.
Right?
And in the best morning
Are
show
you-
and in the best radio station.
Are you kidding me? Right?
Oh my God! Look at the view. Bro.
I know, right?
Exactly. So then it's a gift in itself.
Yeah.
It's a present.
Yeah, and
That will never come by again.
yeah, and it's I don't know why it's so difficult, right? I don't know why it's so difficult for
To be
us
present.
to be present.
I
Right?
know.
Right?
I know.
Are you kidding me right now? We are so blessed. We are so unbelievably lucky. Our luck is just stupefying. Like, whoa, we're here, we're alive.
Yeah, and we get
Right?
distracted
And
a lot.
we get distracted by all, which is fine because we still need to live in today's world, right?
Yeah.
But for us to be complaining about stuff, right? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm
like,
guilty of that.
Yeah, like I complained.
Ay, nako.
I was just complaining about something earlier this morning. Yeah, I blew my fuse because we couldn't convert the thing into the thing. But what? What am I complaining about?
Yeah.
Like, we're so lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah. That's true. I forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And I also speak from experience. I always like reminisces about my past
Yeah,
mistakes,
yeah.
And then I feel bad. And sometimes I also worry about the
Yeah,
future. You
yeah.
know, but you can in fact take control of that by just focusing on the now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But the thing is, we want also to improve on the past, right? We also want to get better than the past, right? So that's why I blew a fuse because because I wanted to do this thing and it wasn't done. But I think if we were just grateful about where we are now, I could have been less angry, right?
Yeah.
I could have just like, hey, like,
Calm down lang.
we can fix this and all that stuff, Like, I'm so lucky to be here. We're gonna fix this one, but without getting angry. So I think that's a very good temperamental control device, right? To be grateful and not
temperamental control
device. Yeah, that just be grateful that gee whiz Louise, we're alive, man. Look at I'm breathing.
Yes.
I have a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God,
I can
heartbeat.
breathe. All my senses work.
I can name many people who have no more heartbeats. Many people that
Exactly.
don't have this gift anymore.
Yeah.
Like right now.
And for us to have that chance every single day is
Yeah.
it's a gift for us.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a saying also.
Okay.
Take your past.
This is not Kung Fu Panda anymore.
No, this is Genro now.
This is Genro.
This is just me. Yes.
Okay.
No more Kung Fu
Okay.
Panda.
Okay,
yes.
okay, okay.
I like to say,
Okay.
take take your past experience as a life lesson.
Okay.
And you can move towards the future by focusing on the now.
All
yes.
Life lesson lang.
Life
siya.
lessons. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's
true.
true. So then that concludes our topic nga. The reason why we reminisce, or supposedly we should reminisce to learn from past lessons,
Yeah.
no? But it's also to help us appreciate the now.
Yeah. I think reminisce is a kind of a soft word because reminisce is like looking back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like looking back. Like play me a song. I think it's got to be more than that. I think what we have to do is maybe because the past manggod is being observed from the present moment. So lahi na ang past dili na gyud na siya pareha. Diba Justin? Like
Yeah.
ang imuhang
It will
panan.
not be it's not the same.
So when you look at it, na jud kay bias because
and our memory is ever so fleeting pag yun. So all the more nga usahay, di pag yun na to ma-remember exactly the way it was.
Dili na sakto imuhang assessment sa kagahapon nimo kay wa makakabaw atong ano. That's why you made that quote unquote bad decision because you didn't know any better.
At that time.
Because you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Because we are idiots. our former selves are frigging idiots. Right?
So sometimes at that time you did what you felt was right for that time.
That was the
Or
best that you could do.
The most that you can do at that time.
Yeah.
Karon, when you realize it now, we're like,
Uh-oh.
I should have done better. I
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
tried harder.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. For example, like I should have taken less sugar. For example, right? And we didn't know any better, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know any better.
Or like when you look back at your holidays,
Yeah.
what you ate pag holidays.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have eaten that much because now.
That's nostalgia again. I think that's nostalgia working like the lechon, for example.
Yeah. No regrets.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. Lechon, kanang lechon. That's a food like we have been eating for generations, right? So it's nostalgia. Yes.
I've been trying to gain weight also. So do you have any tips on how to gain weight
just
healthily?
eat lechon every day.
Lechon?
Lechon every day.
But that's gonna be bad for your heart. Yes.
Well, you didn't ask me about the heart. You just said you wanted to get fat.
I said the healthier way.
Healthier way. Okay, the
I
healthier
think
way.
I've asked about that before we end. No, just to answer that.
Okay.
I've asked about that before. You have to have protein daw, something like that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like protein daw. That's like eggs and stuff and meat.
Yeah, I think the overly simplified way of looking at this, General, so that you will not lose your mind, because the problem with food, it's so complicated, right?
I know.
It is.
And so you have to think about so many things and all that stuff.
What to eat,
I think what you should do, just make sure that you have more calories than you burn.
Oh, wait.
More calories than you burn. Yeah, so you'll eat more calories than you will burn, and then you'll gain weight. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't burn too much calories. Maybe you just want to sit still and eat. Stay in your bedroom.
Yeah. Don't walk too much.
No,
I should say to myself, good luck, because I have ADHD, by the way. So I'm always jumping around.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
That's why.
It'll be difficult.
So you just eat more. Okay, and then
more.
and of course the healthy component of that is
less sugar.
yeah, less sugar, yeah. But like basta kay more calories lang good.
More calories.
Yeah, more calories lang good. Maybe
But in general, I feel like General's healthier than us, especially with your juice business,
Oh,
with
yeah.
your lemongrass
Yeah.
business.
Lemongrass
Lemon
iced
tea.
tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we end, is there anything you would like to say to our viewers regarding that? Because guys, if you've noticed in our past episodes, kami ni Jiggy, even with Cody, and even Kuya Magic, he's
Yeah.
always having your lemongrass tea.
Yeah.
So is there
Lemongrass,
anything you'd
yeah.
like to say first
Yeah.
before we end regarding that?
Yes. Okay, so one moment.
where can we find it?
Yeah,
Go
where
ahead,
can we
go ahead.
find your lemongrass
Yeah,
tea? Do you have a Facebook page, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes, you can find it in my Facebook page.
Okay.
Yes, it's called General's Iced Tea and Coffee.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm in fact based in Ormoc. Yes,
Oh.
but however I can send it to you via LBC or GNT.
Oh.
Yes.
Imported from Ormoc.
Imported from
Made
Ormoc.
by a Danish person.
Dutch.
Sorry.
Dutch. Yes.
Danish
Dutch.
person. Why do I say Danish? Dutch person, yeah.
Yes, and I've got also some certain promos for
Okay.
people. Yes.
Okay.
If
If you're nostalgic.
if you're nostalgic also. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But okay. Bro, you're throwing me off. Yes.
Okay, it's okay.
So sorry. Yes.
That's the
okay.
idea.
It's okay.
It's part of the training.
It's part of the training. I know. Yes. So so if you buy a full box,
Okay.
full box of 24 bottles,
You
that
put it
is
in the
just
box. Okay.
free shipping already.
Oh.
Wow.
That's already a free shipping.
Nice,
yes.
nice.
And those are vacuum sealed.
Vacuum sealed. Yeah.
So it can have a long shelf life.
Okay.
Okay.
So before
Perfect.
we only have 4 minutes to go. Thank you so much for being part of our conversations atong
Yeah.
mag-anisay ta Sugbo nostalgia. Why do we want to live in the past? Before we wrap this up, I want to be able to put a ribbon on it. So Ikaw, Janro, what is your final message about this topic, about nostalgia? What do you think should we do about it?
I believe that is in fact a positive thing.
Okay.
Yes. Because we like to reminiscence on the good times
Okay.
before, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that is why I would like to request a song from you. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, the song is Can You Feel the Love Tonight by a cover song.
Yes.
It is a cover song by Simple Plan.
Wow.
From the album. Yes. Have you heard of that song yet?
Yes.
That's from Lion King, right?
Yes, The Lion King.
Another
And
way of nostalgia.
And Mufasa is already out in the theaters now.
Mufasa's the new
Okay.
movie now.
How about you, Justine? How do you feel about nostalgia?
Yeah, I would like to say, this has been a great conversation, and I don't oftentimes I look back on the past, and there are a lot of things I could complain about.
Yeah.
But there are some things that we talked about this morning that made me enjoy again. I mean, rather help me remember what I used to enjoy in the past.
Okay.
And like some recipes, for example, that my grandfather used to make, a lot of the food that he would make.
Okay.
And hopefully me, my sister, and my brother will be able to recreate that. I don't know if it's going to be as good, but that just means that we have to keep trying to perfect the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to for 2025 na lang. We can at least get close to what my grandpa used to cook. So that's I'm a bit excited about that. More
Okay.
excited about
Okay.
that's like one of the things I'm looking forward to this year.
Oh, okay. And yes, Janro?
Oh yeah, I brought some small gifts for you too, by the way.
What is that? What is that?
Here, these are in fact. Check
What-
it out.
what are
this
these?
is? Yes.
Toothbrush.
Bamboo toothbrush.
Th-
A more sustainable.
This is like an
I love that.
like an insult gift, right? Like, are you telling us we don't brush our teeth enough?
No.
What are you doing, Janro?
I would like to remind everybody to start bambooifying your lifestyle.
Bambooifying my lifestyle.
Thank you so much, John.
Before we wrap this up, okay, I'm gonna end it with a quote, right? One of my personal favorite quotes, and I think I should end the show with this because we're talking about nostalgia, and I keep on repeating this quote, and I want to repeat this again, okay?
Bro, check it out. A bamboo tumbler.
Stress is the distance between where you are now in the present moment and where you want to be in the past or in the future. The further you are from the present moment, the more stressful it is. That's it for us. This is 105.1 TMC.
The best of us.
Thank you, Janro.
Thank you,
Thanks,
General.
man. Yeah, thank you so much.
Listener overdrive for the hour.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye. General, thank you for this. You know what? I've been meaning to try the bamboo ones.
Yeah.
But I thought Basim, the bamboo, like if it keeps getting wet, it's gonna get destroyed.
I have no.
But then that's the reason why it's sustainable.
Yes, that's what. Yes.
Let's have a photograph before we go.
Did you know, by the way, Justine, yes? The very first toothbrush that you had since you were a toddler is still, in fact, somewhere in the earth contributing to the
Oh
plastic
my god,
crisis.
that's how bad